Sitrap, do you have some more info, or do I go to breaking news?
No, go to the break. I'm just waiting on. It looks like the red alerts is going to be probably be all of Israel that was sent out. So we'll see, and then the intensity significant of it. But I mean, the warnings have been set. But go ahead, James.
So the IDF spokesperson has said that the IDF has identified that missiles were recently launched from Iran toward the territory of Israel. The defense system are working to intercept the threat. In recent minutes, the Home Front Command disrupted advanced instruction directly to mobile, and the public is asked to show responsibility and act according to instructions. Other information about going to shelter, siren all across Israel, mainly in the northern part of Israel right now, less in the south. And on the border between, also a lot of red alerts on the border between Lebanon and Israel. So we got also reports from the Lebanese government asking Hezbollah to show restraint, to not attack. Hezbollah has already said that they would not attack except if there is a risk to the regime. So this is something to keep an eye on.
So actually,
Sitrep, were
we
you
just
able
got
to get
some of the
confirmation
red
of
alerts.
Chabahar port explosion and also Asulaye?
Yeah.
You
Actually,
have
I was trying to
visuals?
Bandar Abbas, but we are getting the first red alerts currently are reporting across northern Israel and Tizadom. I guess the question is if it's in northern Israel, I'm wondering. I would be very interested to see if these are from Iranian ballistic missiles or if there's a Hezbollah response to this, like a Hezbollah rocket attack, because you know what it is. But I'm just trying to see. Yeah, right now the red alerts I'm seeing currently are focused on northern Israel, based on the previous report. That looks like where the ballistic missile strike. But I mean, these are like right at the border with Lebanon. I'm not seeing Haifa. I'm not seeing
Yeah,
Jerusalem.
they
Yeah, but
launched at
it's
least
probably from
70
Iran.
already
Probably from Iran, as far as we know right now.
from Iran.
Correct. I mean, I know that's the report. It's just
Houthi attacks
interesting. It's
already.
just very. I'm just yeah. It looks like from Iran. I would just be interesting if there's a Hezbollah component. But the Iranian strikes right now are very much in the northern border, north of Haifa. Right. That's where we're seeing the red alerts. I'll continue to monitor the situation with that to see if there's anything additional, because it's right now breaking and generally the missiles are generally arrive. I just want to see if there's a new one. No, right now
Red alerts
is
expanded to
was hey
Haifa and even south of
Vladimir.
them.
Are there blasts in Damascus, Syria? Are you hearing
Uh,
anything about explosions in Damascus?
well, I mean, yesterday when we actually had the space, there was an assassination attempt on one official that actually was responsible for the Iranian file, but he survived. Although Damascus was denying that he was hit, but I haven't seen yet reports of a blast in Damascus. I will check it for you now.
Yeah, I just saw that kind of what we're doing. We're also getting images already of jets flying over Mosul in northern Iraq. Still waiting on more information on the red alerts. I think I apologize. I think Theddy, you were talking. There was a kind of stepping over each other. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Theddy. I
yeah.
think you
I
had
was
something
just
to say
giving
earlier.
details on the Iranian strikes. So from what I've been able to ascertain, there were between 30 to 70 ballistic missile launches. This is from the western sections of Iran. And they were able to reach northern Israel, talking about the border with Lebanon, all the way south to areas that are near, say, Haifa and even south of it. And we have a lot of explosions being heard in the Galilee region. Israeli interceptors were launched, so we're talking probably about Arrow 3 and maybe Arrow 2 and David slings. And there's not any footage yet to my knowledge, but I have heard, actual explosions, actual impacts in the region. And now for the first time, I just saw the launch of smoke plumes from Tabriz. So that's from northwestern Iran. That's likely where they were
Yeah.
launched from.
So how many ballistic missiles did you say
Between
were
30 to
launched?
70. I don't know the exact number, 30 to 70.
30 to 70. Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. Okay. Yeah, a lot of I'm seeing the red alerts is kind of expanding now. Okay, so we have 178 alerts, and yeah, they just updated it, and I'm seeing it's basically just south of Haifa right now, where the red alerts are active, all the way to the northeast, right at the border with the Golan Heights. That's right where I mean, Jesus.
I posted the contour of where the alarms are centered, and it's clearly an ellipse directed at Iran in northern Israel. So they have identified the trajectory where it is going
Yeah,
toward
and if
Israel,
it's
and then
interesting, is Tabriz. I mean, if based on the Tabriz and where that's very, and I'm wondering if that's why there's explosion being heard in over Damascus, because the flight path would probably go over Damascus based on that, and that's probably why we might be hearing, because the
It would
interceptions might
probably
be coming
be
out.
east of the. It would
So,
probably be a little bit east of
some
Damascus.
reports are coming out. Some reports are coming out that the interception has happened and it was successful. The alerts stay up because there is residues from those rockets that could land inside those areas. Another point is that the coastal city of Bushehr was attacked. No information regarding the nuclear plant in that location, which is a Russian nuclear plant in this location. And now there is information about sirens sounding in Amman. And then the network inside of of Iran has went down to 4%.
Fifty-four
And
percent.
so the connectivity is
54%.
gone.
54%.
Yeah, 54%
Yeah.
per net block. Yeah.
Cell phones are intermittently working, but other than that, that's all they have.
And James, I'm going to jump in. I get I think this is kind of unconfirmed, but I mean, it would be at least N12 News is at least saying it's unconfirmed that the casualties are. I mean, we've seen this before already, but that the casualties, at least inside of Iran, are significant. A significant amount of casualties are recorded. Report. I just want to know the scope. If these are what they're saying is true, we saw that from the IRG, so from Iran International, that Israeli media. Again, take it for what it's worth of the claiming of the thousands of casualties. If that's the case, whatever we think the strikes happen has to be much more, and then we're just not getting the information out right now. And I'm wondering if the situation is we're not getting enough because of the degradation of the internet, because of the cyber attacks, because of the shock, and all that.
Yes.
There might be much more widespread than we think.
Yes. Can I
Yes,
say something about Bushehr?
Yeah, go ahead.
Bushehr is a port city, and I'm sure that one of the objectives is to completely dismantle any part of the Iranian and the IRGC navy so that they cannot jeopardize Hormuz. So whatever was attacked in Bushehr, I'm sure has to do with the
I
IRGC
have a
and the Iranian
mountainside.
navy.
Eyal, I have a mountainside, like by the mountain in Bushehr, that was struck. It looks like pretty deep strike inside, so maybe they had
It could be
rockets or whatever.
missile. It could be a
Yeah.
missile base
Missile
directed
factory.
at the sea.
They targeted the missile site, so it's not about the harbors.
Yeah, they have short to sea missiles and radars, so all of that should have been in the first or second wave of the strikes.
We're also getting reports right now of sirens sounding across Amman, Jordan. This is more than likely because of the Iranian retaliation of ballistic missile strikes. We did see that we've also seen that in one of the air bases in Jordan. U.S. air base has been a key facility that has seen a significant increase of U.S. military assets. Sorry.
There's been a statement from Netanyahu. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the United States and Israel have embarked on an operation aimed at neutralizing the existential threat posed by Iran's nuclear and missile programs, with coordinated strikes underway against targets in Iran. So refocusing back on existential threats. So that's kind of going away from regime change narrative to nuclear and missile programs.
I just listened to the end of Trump's speech, and he said he's going to destroy the Iranian Navy. Does anyone know how many submarines the Iranian Navy has? Because they probably don't have any right now.
I would have to go back. It's not significant. I think what the goal is to prevent, especially their ability to. I would be focusing much more on their their small fleet, not necessarily the submarines, because the reason why is that's where they would try to mine the Straits of Hormuz, and that's what they're trying to do. I'm just trying to. Oh,
Are you seeing the rocket alerts over Haifa right now?
Yeah.
Another 172 rocket alerts.
Yeah. So
over Israel
and there's
north?
explosions reported in around that area. I think that we're going to continue. I mean, but this is the thing. I mean, I'm wondering. I would try to get. I guess what I would ask is this only confirmed? Do we think this, or maybe let me phrase not confirmed? Is this because of Iran's ballistic missiles, or is there a Hezbollah component that might be suspected of this as well?
No
They struck them
Hezbollah. No
quite a bit this
Hezbollah.
week, but no clue. They struck them a
No
lot this week.
Hezbollah.
No Hezbollah. So this is only Iran, correct? Iyal?
Yes, this is only Iran.
Yeah.
Iran. The contour is very clear. It is directed northeast, and for sure that's where they identified the source.
Okay, that's what I wanted to just to make sure. Okay, and then we're getting it's just there's a lot. Like this is going to be
Yeah.
a lot is going on. So James, I'll push it on to you while I try to gather latest information.
Netanyahu coming out with the same statement as President Trump: Iran must not be allowed to possess nuclear weapons. So just reaffirming Trump's
Yeah,
statement.
putting everything in line. Just so we go do a small recap, and then I'll go to the new people and the people that haven't talked yet, and then go through the rest of the panel. We know that this morning, around 2 hours ago, there was a major strike on the Iranian capital and 6 other cities, including Qom and Isfahan. And then over the course of the last 2 hours, multiple other waves have happened. We can count up to two until now on different cities. The targets were mostly military by the Israelis and some of the IRGC leadership by the American, based on reports from the New York Times and other US based media. President Donald Trump went on the podium and talked about the attack, saying that the objective is to not allow Iran to be a threat to the US and to the region. He targeted specifically the maritime solution, the nuclear weapons and the ballistic missiles, while at the same time we're getting reports inside of the Iran that some of the targets that were attacked are in safe location, including Ali Khamenei, including the president, while other names like the head of the judiciary or the head of the military intelligence are reported to have been killed. Those are the information that we have until now. A first strike back has happened from the Iranians. First response. That response targeted northern Israel, but what intercepted alarms went up in the entirety of the Israeli territory, but mainly in the north, for people to shelter in. We'll keep coming with the information, getting you the news as it comes. Check Mario's account. There is a lot of information on it, and I'm gonna go to the people that haven't talked yet. Emrose, you're new. You're new on the panel. We know that your opinion about what's happening, what's the implication of the attack on Israel right now, and how long do you think this will be going? Oh, Ambrose can't answer. I'm gonna go to John. John, with talks about military people, U.S. military personnel being put in danger and in harm's way, and Trump talking about it, do you think this could be the question of, is the U.S. population ready for that much information, or is he talking about something that already happened? Maybe there was some ground involvement. We heard reports about potential infiltration inside of Iran at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's really unlikely as of right now, but I do think should Iran decide to significantly increase its response and make it more widespread against U.S. bases and infrastructure in the region, and also allied nations who they see as aiding in the U.S. And Israeli strikes or aiding in the defense of these U.S. and Israeli infrastructure across the region, that's when we'll begin to see U.S. casualties here. And this is all, once again, an if. Kind of my personal thoughts. I don't really want to get into them. Do I think the U.S. needs to sacrifice its forces in the region in an exchange of fire with Iran? Personally, I don't. But right now, the U.S. these operations and these initial wave of strikes, initial couple wave of rape. And they're hitting their navy so that they limit their ability to lock down the Strait of Hormuz. And they can also do that with standoff munitions as well. They don't need to do that with their navy physically being in the area. We kind of, in a similar manner, how the Houthis did it by firing off missiles every couple of days or every day. A lot of times they weren't hitting anything, but it still made it hard for commercial shipping, and then also naval shipping in the region as well. We saw a number of European navies kind of get overwhelmed just when it came to magazine depths as well. And I think magazine depth is going to be a huge thing that's going to dictate the nature and the length of this ongoing campaign. I do got to get some sleep, guys. It's about 4 o'clock here, so I'm going to hop down. Thanks for having
Yeah.
me up.
We'll be here, I think, when you come back. Just information about sirens going off in the center of Israel, so in central Israel right now. Iranian officials claiming and saying that they are ready, and that Tehran will soon begin a series of unprecedented attacks, the Zionist entity against the Zionist entity and against the American enemy. Soon, the aircraft carrier in the region will be destroyed as attacked submarine set out for the Abraham Lincoln. Why would you announce something like this? It's still a bit of, I think it's still a bit of posturing, but time will tell. I'm gonna
Is
go
that an official
to
statement?
I'm hearing the alarms. They're exactly not far from me. I'm outside of the area where, because we would get a message on the phone if it was in our area, but I can hear it from about 2 or 3 miles away.
okay, thanks you, Ayal. Vladimir, yeah, it's a state TV statement mainly.
Okay. Because the Iranian
Someone
state
from the
TV, they always have
Revolutionary
this
Guard
kind of
saying this on TV.
drama and everything, so it's not always like serious. I mean, if it's like an official statement by the IRGC, I don't think they're gonna announce it. They will just do it. But definitely they're gonna do something because. But I mean, they already started with the first ballistic missile strike on Israel. But so far we haven't seen any U.S. bases being hit in the region. But also we should also realize that a lot of these bases they were already probably emptied, so there are probably not a lot of people inside.
Correct.
Okay, I'm gonna go to 30 maps mapping. Any info? You usually have info.
Yeah, so I want to clarify some of the earlier comments about the degree to which ballistic missiles were launched. There were two in this initial wave, and I think it's just about creating chaos and setting the framework for future strikes. There were two that I heard, by the way, two explosions. There was at least one interception, and there's also footage from the Krayot region in the northeastern parts of Haifa. And over there, you can see there was a smoke plume. So either that's from an interceptor fragment or it's from an open field getting struck. Now, there's also the reports of ballistic missiles being launched towards central Israel right now in the Gush Dan region, and that's again probably coming from the Tabriz region. So if there are reports of 30 to 70 ballistic missiles launched were actually true,
Sirens in
yeah,
Jerusalem and
sure.
the West Bank as well.
Yes. So it's expanded by now. And Tabriz is located about 1,200 kilometers away from this region of Israel. There's a major ballistic missile city south of Tabriz, which is definitely going to be on the target list going forward. They have Shahab 3s over there. Those are some of Iran's most prized ballistic missiles that they've used against Israel in earlier rounds. There's also a northern base just north of Tabriz that has a massive missile silo. There's at least 6 weapon storage tunnels over there, and they use Qadr ballistic missiles in that particular region. So that's likely where we're
Pointing out that
seeing.
Tabriz was one of the cities that were hit in the first wave, based on the information that we got with
Yeah.
Qom, Isfahan, Tehran, and the other cities.
James, a little update here. So New York Times reports that Israel will focus on Iran's missile storage sites
Yeah,
production.
South, I shared
You
that.
did
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Want to make sure.
And I did want to jump in. This is from Sky News Arabic quoting AFP. Heavy security presence and road closures around the Iranian Supreme Leader headquarters in Tehran.
Another round of waves on strikes inside of Tehran right now.
Explosions were heard in Jerusalem.
Yep. And there's about 148 rocket alerts.
No, I'm getting people on the ground saying they're hearing explosions in Jerusalem.
Yep. That's going
I
on
want to
right
say
now.
that I have a clear visibility of all Israel center, Tel Aviv, and all of the Gush Dan area. I don't see anything except the original smoke from a few hours ago of the fire in the bus parking lot.
Yeah, I see interceptors. Just a few locations with interceptors. No other major explosions over.
So explosions, reports are coming out that explosions have been heard in the Jerusalem plain and mountains. Israeli military are now announcing another barrage of launches from Iran towards Israel. And Netanyahu has urged the Israelis to adhere to home front command instruction and to remain patient and steadfast. That's what we have as information in regards to this. I'm gonna go. Sitrap, do you have more info? Or we go to Hazem.
I think. Well, so I'm just gonna. This is from Times of Israel, Fabian. He said one missile launched from Iran towards central Israel was intercepted by air defense. There are no immediate reports of injuries. I mean, he's just saying one. This was just 3:30, like literally a minute ago, Eastern Standard. And now he's okay. Fresh siren sounds in northern Israel following the launch of ballistic missiles from Iran. So that just broke as well. So we're getting another round of ballistic missile launches from Northern. But what he's saying is that the one that looks like that was heading over to Central Israel was just one ballistic missile.
So maybe they were intercepted by U.S. Systems on their way over the rest of them. What are you thinking?
Iran observers claiming that sirens at U.S. base Nave in Bahrain are starting to go up, and that ongoing targets of a fourth wave is happening right now in Tehran from the U.S. and the Iranian.
Another statement from Netanyahu. My brothers and sisters, citizens of Israel, a short while ago, Israel and the United States launched an operation to remove the existential threat posed by the terrorist regime in Iran. I thank our great friend President Trump for his historic leadership. For 47 years, the Ayatollah regime has called death to Israel, death to America. It has shed our blood, murdered many Americans, and slaughtered its own people. This murderous terrorist regime must not be allowed to arm itself with nuclear weapons that would enable it to threaten all of humanity. Our joint action will create the conditions for the brave Iranian people to take their destiny into their own hands. The time has come for all parts of the people of Iran, Persians, Kurds, Azerbaijanis, Baluch, and Awazi to cast off the yoke of tyranny and bring about a free and peace-seeking Iran. I call on you, citizens of Israel, to follow the instructions of Homefront Command. The coming days during Operation Roaring Lion, we will all be required to show patience and inner strength. Together we will stand, together we will fight, and together we will ensure the eternity of Israel.
Stuff just in terms of information, we're getting that cities defense. So Israeli and U.S. forces have attacked Tehran, and there has always also been explosion heard in the two ports and coastal region of Chabahar and I don't know the second. I'll get the second, but there is a lot of coastal regions inside of Iran that are being hit.
Off all over Israel.
What all over
Okay.
Israel? Say it again.
Yeah, new barrage, the sirens all over Israel.
Yeah, they're incoming.
Central Command app just exploded all over Israel. Everybody into shelter.
This is the 10
Hazem,
minutes warning, so they're expected at 10:44.
Hazem, I want to go to you. You've been following that conflict, and we've been following it for a while. What's the next steps right now, diplomatically?
So on a point to almost identical statements by President Trump and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on, providing clarity to the respective American and Israeli people on why these strikes were conducted, and calling for the Iranian people.
Sorry.
Go.
Bahrain Navset might be being targeted right now. Might be.
It's just because of sirens, or there's more?
Well, right now, Public Safety, Ministry of Interior, the sirens have been sounded due to a hazard. We urge citizens and residents to remain calm and proceed to the nearest safe location. Avoid obstructing main roads. Public Safety will provide. I mean, I'm not surprised, man. If they with this, of course they're going to pop Navset. So yeah.
That is quite the escalation, though.
Yeah,
this is regime change, guys. Look, okay, I'm sorry, I'm just going to jump right in. The U.S. did regime change. All bets are off. I'm just letting that's the analytical standard. All bets are off. That I would analyze that from this perspective. Sorry, Hazem, I just jumped in and I interrupted you because I wanted to.
No. I'm absorbing this. I mean, what you said is
a quick
important.
one. More sirens in the extreme north of Israel, checking if this is from Hezbollah.
Extreme north would be Hezbollah normally. I mean, Iran doesn't usually target that region.
That's why I said checking, because it does look very concentrated on the extreme north.
Yeah, so
I mean,
regime change, sure. Again, that's the hope, right? The hope that the Iranian people will rise and create a better system of governance for their country. They need it. They deserve it. But short of that, these strikes are aimed to bring back the Iranian negotiating team seriously to the negotiation table. if Iran is going to start lobbing missiles, we're back to the midst of the 12-day war. We're going to see ongoing operations, joint operations right
So
now.
So
Go
Hazem,
ahead.
just some points. We're seeing interception happening via aircraft above Amman in order to stop the barrage of missiles that are coming from Iran towards Israel. I think this is to limit the use of interceptor and have the as many of those small barrages be hit before a bigger barrage could arrive. I don't know if strategically Sitrap sending one rocket at a time for a short period of time and then sending a big barrage to slow down the response could be a strategy that the Iranians are using.
I think this. I honestly, I'm going to be flat out honest with you, James. This screams miscommunications. That screams this panic and miscommunication. That's not how you would operate. Like if you're the Iranians, that's not how I would operate. And I have this from experience because, like, I literally one of my previous
Another
jobs.
wave of sirens. Another wave of sirens in Jerusalem in the north.
My apologies, James. You were correct. It's 4% internet, not 54% left. So 4%. Thank you. Sorry, James. It was 54% earlier.
But what I was saying, James, is, and I kind of have experience in the Iranian ballistic missile. I did that in my previous government job and focusing on them. These onesies are not how you would do it. To me, that screams as just chaos and miscommunication, and there's a lack of command and control. Generally, you want to see alerts. That's why when the original one was
Sorry, breaking. The Jordanian Air Force scrambled. So a Jordanian Air Force is in the air right now.
Yeah, and that's probably so what I'm interested is to see if there was a ballistic missile. Or the other ones that I'm looking at from Iran is for the Air Force to intercept would be drones and cruise missiles. Those are the two.
What about the Houthis? What about the Houthis?
Well, I'm not
Anybody have eyes on
Houthis.
Houthi airspace? In interesting news in the U.S., in New York City, the People's Forum has made a statement that they're coming out to protest the war in Iran. Of course they are. That's Manolo Santos, who should be in jail, at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for those below that are, pro the IRGC, or I don't know, you're into, I don't know what you're into, but it's one of those things. So
No, Stels, we're not going to personal attacks. Again,
well,
the last point, Donna, welcome on stage.
Wait, is the operation literally called Epic Fury?
Yes,
It depends.
the
Yeah,
American
the
one,
US one.
Out of Jesus fucking Christ! All right, sorry. All right.
Why? You don't
That's
like it?
Epic Fury. I mean, what is this? Fast and Furious? Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, at least Midnight Hammer. I don't know. It's just Epic. I just roll my eyes a little bit on that. Come on. But all right.
Well, you can name it whatever you'd like, Citra. Let me know what the name.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
So does it mean it's short because Epic Fury is very short, or it doesn't mean anything?
I don't know. No, just okay. I'll digress. No. So we are getting videos again. I think. So what's very interesting in these, because I'm now seeing the videos from the interceptions that are going on. You're right. Well, one of the the onesies. One of the things that the Israelis would have to be very concerned about, and hopefully, if they're trying to protect from their perspective, they have to be very careful of their fire doctrine of interception and how they do it. There's doctrinal ways on how you do it and how many launchers you've launched, but they probably want to conserve that to anticipation. Exactly what you said, James, because more than likely the best tactic that Iran would probably have if they want to attack Israel is they would have to overwhelm. We're not seeing any indication that Hezbollah is interested in getting involved. I think that's a significant loss of the axis of resistance and kind of a failure of Iran. So we'll have to see in the next couple of hours or days if Hezbollah does not get involved in this. They're going to have to lay down their weapons completely at this point. I mean, there's no purpose and no reason. So yeah, but go ahead, James.
Just pointing out that the coordination between Hezbollah and Iran has been very high lately, and that in the discussions, in everything that has been said in the media, the main point was as long as the regime is not at risk, Hezbollah will not get involved. That has been the flagship response. So if we see Hezbollah being involved, it means that the Iranian regime is maybe feeling at risk. It is
But
the
we
way
also
that
saw
the
the
Lebanese
Lebanese
people
prime
see it.
minister. He said we don't want to be involved in any war. So that's
Yeah, but the
also
Lebanese prime minister
indication.
holds no sway at all. We talked about this.
I
but
know
the
he doesn't
Lebanese,
hold any sway, but it maybe means that he's expecting something to happen also in Lebanon.
yes, maybe.
Let's not forget the fog of war, everybody. We probably have a 15% idea of what's really going on. This reminds me a lot of Desert Storm in 91. We didn't know anything like till 12 hours later. We knew the attacks were going on. And this, you got to remember, this is like World War III versus World War One. Nobody has any idea what kind of technology we have. And every time something like this happens, there's new things that come off the shelf. And every time they fire a missile,
Sorry,
that site's
Jen, I
going
just
to
have
get
to
hit.
jump in. Kirk Island has been struck, which is Iran's premier oil facility, oil export hub. So there are explosions reported. I'll share it right now in Kirk Island, which is very, very interesting. Sorry, go ahead, continue.
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah, no, and then we.
Sorry, interrupt. Just because you were talking about Lebanon, the Lebanese president just came out with a statement that Lebanon should avoid the tragedies of foreign wars. So the Lebanese government, at least, has made their position clear.
And I think that's what it is. I am getting. I think Iran has just announced a retaliation as part of this. Yeah, IRGC are claiming that they're launching an extensive drone, cruise missile, ballistic missile strike. I guess. And where are they focusing on? Towards Israel. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Towards
Yeah.
Israel. Okay. So I guess I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm wondering if the Bahrain alert are just kind of preparatory, just because of everything. It's very interesting that for now, even though the United States is involved right now, Iran's perspective is to conduct just strikes against Israel. We'll see if this kind of continues against U.S. military facilities or Gulf countries in the region.
So reports of the Houthis restarting attacks on the Red Sea and striking ships in the area for now. That's how they are opening the front on the other side. So Yemeni Houthi will resume attack on shipping in the Red Sea area. And then there is a second wave, right? A third wave, probably, or force of ballistic missiles coming from Iran towards Israel. It seems to be uncoordinated, as you're saying, Citra, but we'll look moving forward what will happen.
And also there's reports that the internet is being shut down in Iran. Netbox reports that network data shows that there's almost a near total internet blackout. So we're probably going to see less stuff coming out now.
James,
But
I
of course,
invited
the Iranian regime
I
still has
invited Jonathan
internet.
Heston. If you see him, grab him if he's able to come in.
Thank you. Who did I want to go to? Donna, you haven't talked yet. What do you think is the end goal here? Where do you think we're moving forward? And do you have any news about stuff on the ground?
Hi, James. Hello to everyone. As an Iranian, this is just excuse the emotions. I have just come back from dinner with an Iranian friend, and the whole discussion was, of course, concentrated on the threat of war and what's happening on the ground. And she was talking about she's got very close families. Her parents and her siblings are in Iran. And she was talking about the circumstances that they're facing, the everyday worry that this war might happen. And we were having this discussion. We were talking about the big fracture that exists at the moment, the polarization between the Iranians and the different views and the infighting and the sad state of the relationship between Iranians and their very polarized views about what will happen if there is a regime change and what will replace that vacuum and the real threat of prolonged civil war in Iran. And not knowing that while we are having these discussions and talking about the anxieties that exist inside Iran, that actually the war has already started and the strikes are happening. And of course, for many people of my generation, there is the trauma of experiencing the war during the Iran and Iraq. I was barely a teenager when the bombs were falling down, and I have a lot of sympathy for children who tend to be the first victims of such war. Is always mothers really worrying about the children. And of course, we've seen the destruction in Gaza. We know what war can do, and we know the effect that it has on people on the ground, I feel an extreme sense of injustice. I really do
It's
apologize. I really want to be strong
it is fine.
and
Dana,
convey to you.
I understand the way your emotions
I
are
know
playing, and
you
as a
are now
Lebanese,
wanting to talk about, yes, talk
no, as
about what's
Lebanese,
happening on the
I lived
ground.
the same. I lived the same experience when the war
Hmm.
happened in Lebanon. Even though I have my differences with the groups that were being attacked, when a region is attacked, it's always different and it's always hurts. And it's important to hear the voices of the people that have stake in the game and that have a relationship with the thing. We understand that a war is happening between two major countries, and that the attack is attacking a government and another government are deciding to attack. But it's important to always remember, as Dana is saying, that there is people on the ground that are affected by this. We are talking
Yes.
here from a military perspective on the space in order to analyze the military implication of what's happening. But I thank you for presenting your
No,
emotions
James,
because
can
it's
I
kind of
please,
important.
Donna, how
can
many
Yes.
I
how
also
many
talk about the
people were killed by
political?
the regime in the last weeks of protests in your number estimation? I'm curious.
Yes. If we are talking about the political implication of what's
No. How
happening in
many
Iran at the moment, please,
civilians that were protesters
please,
were killed? Just a
Steph,
straight question.
so I don't want. Okay,
I'm here,
Donna, I'll let you answer.
I'm here to speak. Can I please
I'll let you
speak?
answer.
I'm not here to answer anyone's questions. I'm here to
Right. Okay.
please let
All
me.
right. Okay. So I'm just going to use the button. Donna, I'll let you answer. Stealth, do not interrupt. Do not go that. I know what you're doing. Let's not go that way. Let her finish her point and do that. And then I will be coming in with additional feed. Actually, I'm going to pull up the feed right now. So Donna, I'll let you speak. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Um, what I'm trying to convey here, maybe not so as
You set off
precisely as I would
alarms
have liked to,
in
because
Israel.
What region, Ayan? Sorry,
This is
breaking
in
news. Dana
Netanya
told me
where
stick
I'm
up.
at. So this is going on right now. So we got the minute and a half warning. I'm going into the shelter.
Okay.
Mm.
Uh,
and I am truly sorry, not only for people in Iran, but also people in Israel, the mothers and the children that I've spoken about,
Yes,
and the
but you
ordinary
know, this
people
is
I've
a
spoken
regime
about.
that have been terrorizing the whole area for
guys,
47 years.
Yes, well, let's I really if I thought that this was going to bring security for Iranians and for Israelis, I
You don't
wouldn't
think this
have
way, but
I would
many
have
other
supported it. But
Stunning ads.
no other war in the Middle East has brought security for anyone. This is going to be as harmful for Iranians as it will be for ordinary people in Israel. Israel will not guarantee its security by its hyper militarization, by terrorizing people in the Middle
Israel
East.
is
I
not
have just
terrorizing.
earlier
Just let's
on
be
read
clear.
something
Israel is
from
defending
you.
itself.
sorry, I had to cut this off. This discussion is, we will have this discussion
Yes,
down
we
the
Yeah, are
will.
we
line,
gonna do
Yes.
but it's not.
histrionics right now? Do I
No, no,
have to
No,
do
no,
this?
no. Stop. Okay. Okay.
There's
I'm
a
going to
lot of
jump
breaking
in.
news, Fitreb.
Well, I will finish very
Stunning ads.
quickly. I just have to say that I listened to what Donald Trump has to say, and Donald Trump told Iranian people that there's going to be bombs everywhere. Stay inside your home. This is not what people and the people that went and protested in Iran wanted. They didn't want to be for bombs to be everywhere. That's exact words that Trump said. They thought that there will be surgical and very sanitized and clean strike against Iran that will give them the opportunity to maybe take key personnel out. But this, as we always suspected, we in the anti-war camp always suspected that this was going to be about damaging infrastructure, about weakening Iran, and possibly breaking up Iran. I also listened to Netanyahu, who appealed
This
to
is not news.
Baluchis, to
I'm sorry.
Kurds,
This
to
is a political
minorities.
speech.
Well, it's not a political speech. It's the reality of what this war the
No, it's
damage and the
Literally
harm that
NIAC
this will
propaganda.
do.
You're quote tweeting Trita Parsi. Let's be
yeah,
real. The people want to be
just
free.
All right, all right, all right, okay,
you're
all right. So jumping in, Jesus Christ, guys, we're not. Let's be real. Let's be understanding what's going on. There's a war going on. I'm okay with some opinions. I can understand Donna's perspective. Let's, and I understand you guys' perspective. We all get it. We all get it. If this is going to be an issue where we can't maintain decorum, then we're just going to start removing and adding other speakers. So, having said that, I'm seeing images from southeast Iran and Manab in the Hormuzgan province. There's strikes that are going on there. There is a report that in Jordan, in Irbid, one of the missiles, Iranian missiles, did fall in Irbid. Apparently, that's from Al Hadath is reporting that. So clearly, some of the missiles that went landed there. What I am trying to figure out is that the quantity of missiles that have been launched is something that we still really don't have. The only confirmed right now that we have is that there was one ballistic missile launch, and we don't have anything really else.
There has been three. There has been three reports of interceptions.
Right, but we
Just
don't
for
have a
info, three
quantity,
reports. One,
right?
yes,
That's
exactly. We don't know
actually
how many of those rockets were intercepted.
okay. So the other one is okay. So Bahrain military base east of Tehran is currently being attacked right now. We're seeing alarms.
Being attacked.
Yeah, so Barthin, the military base east of Tehran, is currently like there's an attack going on right now, I guess.
Okay, sorry, I heard Bahrain. Sorry.
No. Well, Bahrain, there were sirens. There were sirens in Bahrain. I don't know if there's an attack yet. There's also sirens in Qatar. There were sirens in
Al Arabiya just came out stating that they heard an explosion inside of Bahrain. So Al Arabiya correspondent reports hearing the sound of an explosion inside of Bahrain, knowing that Al Arabiya is present there. So it's kind of reliable.
Well, but that's the point. I mean, that's the thing, James. Like, if you're okay to the people who are in the Middle East right now in the Gulf, if you listen to the embassies, very likely that we're going to see Iran launch these types of military strikes, specifically not only targeted against U.S. military infrastructure in those countries, but that is going to have huge implications against U.S. specific regions as well. Qatar. Okay, Qatar closes airspace, so we have reports that Qatar has officially announced that their airspace is closed. That is just broke right now. Qatar Airways, Qatar has closed their airspace because of the fighting going on right now between Israel, U.S., and Iran. So Doha International Airport is shut. That is a major transit route east to west. So people in that region are pretty much stuck. So we're going to be monitoring flight radar and see kind of what that. But that's a major disruption to air travel. But Qatar has shut down their airspace.
I mean, there's also several U.S. embassies that are calling their citizens to basically take shelter, basically Bahrain and others. So I also saw, I think, Jordan. So that's
Qatar
also a sign
Qatar
that
as well. Yeah. Qatar.
Brian, I'll go to you. Try not to go too much into politics, please, or keep it toned down, please. I don't want to divulge this. There's a lot of breaking news going on. We're gonna get guys. I promise you, I'm gonna be here with you guys probably for weeks. There will be times for politics, but for now, let's focus on the immediate after effect right now.
So two things. My one of my friends in the Oman was just telling me he's hearing a bunch of interceptions earlier above the skies there. So Jordan's definitely sucked into this for sure. And that brings me to the point about retaliation. Iran's definitely going to be retaliating. We're seeing that start now. Both sides aren't opening with everything they've got right away. They have their plans. They have their reasons they're striking particular targets when they are. Maybe the Iranian regime is so flat-footed it's just randomly lashing out, but there's some level of planning that's going to kick in. And then I want to know what our response and what our preparations are to deal with what Iran's going to throw us, because there's going to be lots of small drones, right? It's not just going to be the big missiles that we can intercept easily. We're going to have a lot of drones coming at us. There's going to be some type of ground operatives going after civilians, probably not just our people on the bases. I really would like to hear from the administration very early tomorrow morning, as soon as business hours open up, I would like to really see guidance on what people are supposed to be doing, because I feel like now it's too late for a lot of people, right? Like this just seems to be very rushed. That's not a political judgment. I'm just comparing this to how the U.S. has conducted these types of operations since the end of World War II through now. We've never done this like this. This is different. So we should not be expecting the same type of outcomes when we're approaching it differently with a different or non-existent set of allies for the most part. We've got these Gulf countries that are getting sucked into this, frankly, against their will. They don't have a choice. They're going to have to participate. They are the battlefield. Literally, Iran doesn't border Israel. So these countries are caught in. And there's a lot of back and forth and a lot of bad blood between all these different groups going on in the region. And Iran is not stupid enough to not try to really exploit this and to take out some of the stability with some of their neighboring regimes that are supporting American bases and troops and planes. There's a lot of damage that Iran can do, even if they can't damage our military very effectively. So I just love how.
No, and I would agree with you, Brian.
You acknowledge
I've said
this,
like,
but other people
we're
don't.
seeing it right now. And I've said this, like, because this regime change, I don't think nobody can make the argument. If you're Iran, then it's like all bets are off. That's it. Just go. You're going to launch your ballistic, and we're seeing it because I actually, to your
I mean,
point,
that's
James.
Iran saying now.
And the
And
last
also,
sentence will
there's
say the
reports
hubris with
now
some of these people acting like Iran can't hurt anybody, and it's going to be a cakewalk, and everyone's just going to lay flowers for Bibi and the monarch.
Air base is being attacked, and the naval base in Bahrain, and I actually have a picture from Bahrain where you can see a plume of smoke towards the general vicinity of where NAVCENTER is located, the U.S. Naval Headquarters. Sorry, Vladimir, you were jumping in trying to say there's some breaking news or something? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I was talking about what you're saying now. So basically, there's a lot of videos coming out now from Bahrain, and it seems the base was targeted there.
Oh, wait. Hold on, more news. Right here. Jordanian media outlets are reporting that missile fragments fell in northern Jordan. Okay. Qatar downs Iranian missile. Al Jazeera cites Qatari officials. So Qatar air defense of all that. So Qatar's air defense has already downed Iranian ballistic missiles.
Wouldn't that be the U.S. THAAD system? I mean, what are we talking about?
So, the Qatari Ministry of Defense is reporting that they're using their air defense systems to intercept Iranian ballistic missiles flying against IUD air base. And it's probably joint because there's U.S. patriots in. Well, I'm assuming there is U.S. patriots in Qatar and IUD with the Qataris as well, and they're doing interceptions right now.
Sitrep, do you have the total Ministry of Intelligence, Ministry of Defense, Office of the Supreme Leader, Atomic Energy Organization, and Parshan Complex all hit? Do you have that full list?
So actually, I did get. Actually, let me. Now that you say that, I do have.
I have that so far.
I have. Where was it? There was a full list. If you have it, please share.
Yeah, I just posted it. It's on my feed. Yeah, I posted on my feed.
Telegraph,
yeah.
Just while you're checking this, the Telegraph has set a map of the targeted area in the the west part of Iran. So Tabriz, Kangavar, Kermanshah, Nahavand, Lorestan, Desful, Isfahan, Qom, Tehran, and Karaj were the areas that were hit in the west of Iran. Those are the closest cities towards that could strike, let's say, the Levant and mainly Israel, and then the other strikes happen in the south, mostly
actually,
in the
James, I need
naval
to jump in.
bases.
Sorry.
Sure.
I need to jump in.
Multiple
Vladimir,
waves of ballistic missiles. Multiple waves of ballistic missiles. So far, nothing has had a massive impact. Mostly intercepted. Did you see that?
Vladimir, do me a favor. Are you seeing reports that the PMU's Jurf al-Sakhar base was hit in southwest Baghdad?
No, I haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
apparently. Well, yeah, there's Aleph. Well, not he's not Aleph anymore. What is his name? Shin.
Sorry, Sitrep, I don't interrupt, but the explosion in Bahrain seems significant.
Yeah. Yeah. The cloud is big. Yep. Oh yeah. That's why I think when the administration denied it, it's like, no, you're not. You evacuated that base. Like, there's no reason why to be there. But we're also getting reports of the pro Iranian militia groups in Iraq have been targeted as well in southwest Baghdad. So there's that. Eyal, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
I just wanted to remark on what Brian said. Nobody said it's going to be a walk in the park.
Are you serious? I'm not saying you did, but many people have been on this stage and others and claim that everyone's going to love
But when
the
people
shot
stay on
and
the
BD and
stage,
it's going to be great. I mean, not you, but many people are saying this is going to be easy.
no
Sorry.
war is a walk on cake.
Well, we agree. We agree on that for sure.
The British Navy is saying that there has been significant military activity in the Strait of Hormuz. I think we have some allied ships out there helping out as well.
Yeah, no, Bahrain is getting hit hard.
Interesting.
And that Bahrain explosion looks downtown. Doesn't look like, oh, whoa. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's pretty bad.
So it's not near. Well, I mean, that's the problem. The naval base is right there, and so if it's not an accurate missile system, it depends what system they launched. It's going to hit the downtown area.
Al Udeid Air Base is under attack right now in Qatar, is what's being stated by Telegram.
And if we hit
Qatar
their
is
oil
intercepting
facilities, they're going to hit the Saudi oil facilities at some point. So get ready, everybody.
I've said that in a space way back. I said if you're doing regime change, these are the litany of targets, and at one point the Iranians are just going to be like, we're going to hit oil facilities. Just that's why they did it over the weekend, guys. Just letting you know.
I'm looking at the plume from Bahrain. It's one location. It seems like it's a building. Is that by the water side? Which image are you looking at?
Yeah, that's the one. But all of Bahrain is on the water side, technically. When you go aerial, most of this, like, it's an island. It's a tiny island.
Bahrain's interior ministry citizens must evacuate to the safest place nearby. All missiles so far in the last 4 minutes have been intercepted so far, but the Houthis also launched ballistic missile. Does anybody confirm they actually launched
We
a
have
ballistic?
people. Stars, please. We have people on the ground inside of the UAE, and it seems that there has been heard of an explosion. It's not sure if it's an interception, but the airspace above the UAE have been closed. For
Again,
info,
Jay, I just everybody in the Middle East. This is regime change. All bets are off. UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait. It's going to be widespread. I've had multiple interviews. It's going to be a widespread aspect. There's a reason why the administration probably at the beginning did the targets that they did, because there's what they're trying to do. I think, and James, the question that I have, James, is I am not convinced that this is coordinated. I am not convinced that this is coordinated, and this could be. I've seen this happen in previous examples with the Iranian ballistic missile program, where they panic because these sounds like onesies, and they just fire them, and that's what it's looking like. We're not seeing this widespread coordinated attack and not even against Israel. So I think that's why the United States and Israel conducted the strikes that they did to try to prevent that. But that's what we're to do. So. Yeah, sorry. Let me continue to look
all
into news,
good,
James.
all
Pass it
good.
back to you.
It's we just for information, and then I'm gonna go to Gregory because he hasn't talked yet. We have seen every single ally of the U.S. and every single Arab country that's close through the borders of Iran, except Kuwait and the KSA being hit right now. All the others have been hit. We're getting reports of hits inside of Iraq. And just to give a throwback to everyone, around 3 hours ago, strikes started from a coalition between the US and Israelis. They targeted around 6 cities inside of Iran, including Tehran. Big hits on the leadership positions, so the head of the military apparatus, the military intelligence, the head of the judiciary system, the presidential palace was hit, Ali Khamenei's house was hit, while the Israelis were, based on reports, hitting radars and ballistic missiles situation. At the same time, Iran came up and said that we will retaliate, and throughout this retaliation until now, we've seen 5 to 6 throws towards Israel, and the rest have been towards Bahrain, the UAE, Qatar, and that's where we're hearing reports. The US followed that by a message by President Trump talking about stopping the ballistic threat and the nuclear attacks and the risk from the Iranian regime towards the other people in the region. And throughout after this statement, the entire bases naval bases of Iran were hit, and we're getting reports right now of another wave of attack coming from Iran towards another other areas in the Middle East. We will be following with the news. If you have any news, please either post them in a bubble or send them to Mario. If you think you can add something to the discussion, message the Mario account. We're going to be here for a couple of hours, so even more.
James, there's
Short
another wave
breaking,
of tomahawks. James, another wave of tomahawks. Can anybody confirm that? I'm seeing a video as well.
Short breaking. Tankers took off from Tel Aviv, from Lod Airport, American tankers, and they are on the flight radar application. So otherwise I wouldn't be saying this, but this is public information that is all over the world.
Okay, Sitrap, a point before we go to
Right.
Gregory.
James, the confirmation from Bahrain, the missile struck in Jufair area. It's close to the American base, but it's a really nice neighborhood. It's an upscale neighborhood. It's like a
UAE was
hangout
also just
area.
hit. I'm trying to figure out
Really?
Yes,
where.
so
What was hit? What?
United
UAE.
Arab
UAE.
Emirates. Somebody there local said UAE was just hit. I'm trying to get exact information, but so I was trying to see if it's Dubai, Abu Dhabi, or what. I mean, oh shit, what's that base? What's that air base?
Al Udeid?
No, not IUD. That's Qatar. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. The base in UAE.
Oh, I don't
Al
remember. the name right
Dhafra.
now.
Al Dhafra Air Base. Al Dhafra Air Base. There's a U.S. military base there. It's called Al Dhafra. A lot of guys who deployed to the Middle East have been there. There's a base there. So if UAE was that's attacked, that's where we're doing it. Oh wait. What's going on? What is this? Okay, U.S. Navy. Yeah. Okay. No, that's nothing new. So NAVCENT. Yeah. But we're also getting reports that possibly UAE is getting hit. We'll try to get more additional information on that.
So this is interesting. I mean, if we're talking about pretty much every Gulf state right now, except Saudi Arabia, just got hit. What kind of reaction are the Iranians expecting from this? Sitrap, to you.
Sorry, I was talking. I was mute.
No, I'm saying like pretty
thing is,
much
the reason
every
why
Gulf
they're
state
doing
just got hit.
Yeah, the reason why they're doing this is because they don't. If it's regime change, there's only one way they can cause pain.
Just
Now,
Sitrap, Kuwait have been struck. Kuwait, there is a strike,
right.
ongoing strikes on Kuwait, and they're trying to
I
stop
just
it
got
in
to
their
make sure,
airspace.
James. Are we 1,000,000% confirmed about? Because I remember the 12-day war at the beginning. Everything. I mean, Bahrain. We saw the video. Everything was getting hit. Is Kuwait confirmed also hit?
There's alarm. Sorry, there's alarm. There's no confirmation yet per se.
I'm seeing reports of Kuwait getting hit too.
Right. So again, these are two pieces, right? One, there's two ways to analyze this. Either this is a coordinated attack that is being directed at top, and it makes sense if it was, because if it's regime change, this was how Iran was going to respond. Again, I've dealt with the Iranian ballistic missile program. Like this is what was expected. That's why these U.S. and Israel are doing this, right? It's just strike everywhere around the region. Or number two, which we don't know, is if this isn't coordinated and it's just basically independent units within the ballistic missile force are just panicking and just blindly firing missiles without a
they
command
had
and
order.
control element able to do it. We don't know the answer to that.
We don't know, but most likely they don't have communication, but they do have pre-planned orders.
That's why I said at the beginning with Craig way back then.
Sorry,
sorry,
Sitrap. Reuters confirmed a huge explosion in Abu Dhabi. That's the headline.
Okay, so UAE is there, and I think Abu Dhabi is where Al Dhafra Air Base is located. So that's probably, I wonder if that's where was focused.
Yep. It's gonna be a long night.
Long night, dude. It's gonna be a long week, month. Come on, it's already been long. I've been covering cartels last week, and now this. Let's go. This is just the reality of the ground. I mean, we're seeing U.S. embassies in Amman, Jordan, all the. Well, I'm not even going to list all the countries. Every single U.S. embassy in the region has already announced shelter-in-place orders. That's number one. We have seen that. Qatar airspace has been closed. That we got that from my sit rep. We also have. Let me see what else. I'm trying to make sure. No, there's nothing there. Kuwait has been targeted. It appears Bahrain has been targeted. Qatar, UAE. So, and now we're getting more waves of strikes inside of Iran. So, Yep, this is the one.
They're also claiming they're targeting the Fifth Fleet, but I don't
Well,
know
the
if it's
Fifth
true
Fleet
or
is the
not.
naval base. The Fifth Fleet is the naval base in Bahrain. That's NAVCENT. U.S. Naval Central is the Fifth Fleet. So that naval base is the headquarters. That's why that's why when everybody was saying the evacuation of Bahrain matters because that's NAVCENT. I'm telling you right now, I would be extremely skeptical if NAVCENT is fully manned at the moment. I don't believe it.
But they're also claiming that they're targeting the Lincoln ship, but I don't know. It's just it's pro IRGC channels.
Yeah, well, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Trying to see. Israeli military instructed civilians to remain in bomb shelters until further notice on Saturday amid waves of Iranian ballistic missile attacks. Quote, you must remain in a protected area until an official notice is given, the army said, adding that air defense systems were detecting and intercepting threats. That's from Iran International.
But also, I wanted to say something. Like someone was claiming that the Iranians are not happy with the strikes. But for instance, there was this video of like of a U.S. jet or an Israeli jet above Iran, and they actually were cheering. So it doesn't mean that everybody is not happy or not happy. But I mean, there's also people happy basically that it's happening, because especially a lot of people that lost their lives in the protests and their family members, they were actually waiting for this to happen. But of course, the people that are on the other side of the supporting the Iranian government, they are not happy with it.
The Russians have
So
made a
just I want
comment about Trump
to.
saying this is the peace president. So the Russians are now a little bit pissed.
I just wanna pinpoint something about what Vladimir said. You can have that, but you can also have the impact on the populace that is against the regime, but the impact of the war is different. The moment you start having rockets and strikes inside of your area, near your houses, near the area where you live, it impacts you indirectly if you want it or you don't want it. And that's the point that I think other people like Dana were bringing up and other people, independently of political affiliation. I don't want to go into that, but from someone who's on the ground, I think like also people that are in Israel on the space or other people, those people too have the same point. We're getting struck. Like those people are sitting inside of bunkers. They are getting hit. We are discussing the high military implication. Now you have people also in the UAE, in Qatar, in Kuwait, in Bahrain, people that have never seen war recently and that moved to those safe havens that are being impacted too. The entire region is going ablaze. I think no one is happy with the fact that it's a war. We just need to analyze it from a higher perspective, which is a military perspective. What are those objectives?
Sorry,
I think the Iranians have already had, just as it's epic through for the U.S. The Iranians very originally named True Promise 4. So Operation True Promise 4 is Iran's retaliation.
so one of the intercepted missiles just fell in Syria, in Daraa area on the Israeli border.
Can I jump in, since I've had my hand in for a while and I'm Iranian and I have
Go ahead, Danny.
in touch with Iranians of the country? Thank you. So right, so as Vladimir pointed out, there Iranians right now, and we're hearing from them live. I'm getting messages. There are Farsi spaces. We're all elated that this is happening. Nothing uh, nothing is worse than the presence and the continuation of the Islamic regime. But moving on, here's what I really wanted to say. It's important that when we talk about Iran and the consequences, that we at least produce evidence. On Mario's space and on your space, Citra, just 10 hours ago, I called it. I said, well, the statement that was put out by Trump uh, 10 hours ago was mirroring that of George Bush's speech right before they struck Baghdad. And it happened. Again, I'm telling you this with evidence. The reason Iranians are happy with this is because they know the direction in which they're going. And the direction was the one that was set forward by the Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi. When I say that the overwhelming majority of Iranians support this, and there is a transition government already uh, participating to take over the government, we Iranians say this with evidence. So I wanted you to keep this in mind. We're not looking at civil war, chaos this, chaos that. It's just like during the 12-day war. It was recorded, it was reported by the US government, mainstream media, and human rights organizations that in all 31 provinces, Iranians erupted and poured out in the streets, and there was no this province turning against that this province. this group wanting separation. None of that happened during the 12-day war. It did not happen in the period between the 12-day war and now, and it's not going to happen now. The path, and one more thing before I end this, Donald Trump's speech today mirrors some parts of it about the direction in which Iran will be going, mirrors the statements that is being put out by the Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi. This is not coincidence, this is coordinated. Thank you for listening.
We're getting
Can I just say that nobody's in touch with Iranians inside the country? I know this for sure because there's absolutely no internet and all of us are trying to contact people inside and none of us have been successful. And nobody speaks for all Iranians. I don't speak for all Iranians. Nobody else speaks for Iranians. And nobody knows what most Iranians think because there's never been a proper poll. So anybody that claims that they speak on behalf of Iranians and they speak on behalf of even majority of Iranians, really you should regard that with
so
extreme
I need
suspicion.
Donna, I don't know if I agree with you, but I think it's a good point.
Breaking another wave of sirens in Kuwait right now.
And I think Aja News is reporting that the Kuwaiti civil aviation has temporarily closed their airspace. So back to back there, Hazem. I think that the Bahrain
Just
though,
a
I think
point,
there's only was
Sitrep,
that one explosion. It's just getting recirculated like
I
crazy.
got a confirmation from someone in the UAE. So in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, there is near Zayed Airport. There was a couple of interception and a loud bang in the outside area. So it didn't hit anything that is close to where the hit. So I think they were intercepted above the UAE in Abu Dhabi, and the sound that we're hearing are from interceptors or the remains of the missiles.
Sorry, Citrip, was I cut off or did I drop off the space? I don't know if you cut everything I said.
We heard you, and then we jumped in, and then now we had we're just sharing the news after Donna. But I don't want to go this back and forth. The regime change, we're not there yet. There's a lot of news going in. You said your point, Donna said your points, and I already corrected this. I don't want to get right now in that because there's a lot of going on inside of. I mean, not only in Iran or Israel, just in the region as a whole. This is a major regional war right now.
Sichep, are you surprised they didn't close down the airspace for these other locations in the Gulf? Do you think because people were leaving with private jets? Because I'm very surprised they had already over an hour to shut down these air bases.
So I mean, again, I think people look when we're dealing with this aspect, right? And we were doing this before. People were putting a lot of emphasis on the embassies. I mean, we did see some of that in the airspace closures, and a lot of times you're not going to get those warnings. You're not, and so that's kind of the situation that we're in. And now we're seeing a lot of these countries close their airspace. So I'm trying to see. I think the strike in Bahrain is just that one explosion. So there's one missile that went through. I think that's really for the fundamentally it. And I think it's just getting recirculated because I'm just interested to see how much it is. So yeah, that's it. We're trying to get confirmation if Kuwait airspace has been closed as well. And I know James, you kind of had it. We're gonna have glitches on this.
So, Sitrep, I want to make a quick point. You know, every time a city in the Gulf getting hit, you're saying that all bets are off, regime change was mentioned. I have a very different theory than this. For Iran to hit, let's say, Abu Dhabi from Bandar Abbas, they need a very short-range missile. I wonder if they have the long-range missile capabilities we think they have, or they're able to rebuild enough under all this pressure over the past 6 months. Maybe, just maybe, they do not have enough that can reach Israel, and now they need to resort to hitting American interests within short range.
Just sorry, Hazem, that's important. We're starting to hear reports of explosions or interceptor getting up in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. That's big. The reports are coming through multiple sources and multiple medias. We're not saying there is an explosion in Riyadh, but we're saying that there is a probability of
Riyadh,
some
right? You just broke in with that with the Riyadh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Wow. Oh, Riyadh.
Regarding these strikes directed at Israel, if I remember reading an article from JINSA about how they were able to intercept half of the incoming missiles from the Islamic Republic, but with respect to the other half, they actually needed assistance from the Americans. I don't remember if it was about the Patriot missiles, but nonetheless, they needed assistance from the Americans. At this point, with this incredible military presence in proximity, I think perhaps now they're comfortable enough. The Israelis, I'm daring to speak on behalf of them. Someone can correct me. Again, this is just my guess. They feel safe enough to now, together with the United States, conduct these military strikes. So perhaps, and this goes to what Hazem was saying earlier, the Islamic Republic either does not have the capacity to retaliate, and they really did not have effective capability to hit Israel even back then. They probably don't have it either now. I don't know what's this situation with the Arab countries in the Persian Gulf, but with respect to Israel, I hope that they are able to completely defend themselves against the incoming strikes from the Islamic Republic.
Just a small
So
point,
we're
we're
saying
getting
more strikes.
reports of
Israel is leading strikes against in Iraq against pro-Iranian militia groups. So that's going on also currently. James, sorry, I jumped in. Go ahead.
I was going to say the same thing, but also add to that the Houthis have announced that they will join the war, like officially said that they will be part of the
We
conflict.
did see
I'm
that.
seeing
I
another
know, Gregory, you've
Tabriz
been waiting with your hand up.
missile site
Oh,
up in
go ahead,
smoke.
Sid.
So there's another Tabriz missile site up in smoke. There's images and video. I'll retweet that right now. And there is, what is this? Okay, so somebody posted a video allegedly of Israeli Navy submerging and moving pretty fast. This OSINT account. I don't know if you've seen that.
I would be.
Yeah.
Well, I would be very skeptical of that simply because the internet has been cut and it's hard.
No,
and I
in
wouldn't be
Israel,
surprised if that's
out
another
of Israel. There's video from.
Oh, out of Israel. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
The IDF, sorry, the IDF is confirming that all incoming missiles are coming from Iran territory.
So I think so. Okay, so I'm going to go to Gregory. I'm just being very because again of how the algorithm is coming. I'm wondering again if these are coordinated or not, and or two is there's clearly the focus I think is more in Israel. What I think the way that we can have a better understanding, which I'm a little bit surprised we haven't received a report, is like how if you remember the 12-day war, there were large salvos of ballistic missiles. We haven't seen that yet. Oh, actually, wait. Okay, I'm not going to shut up because I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so that's the thing that we're at. So
sorry, can I just say in terms of targeting the regional countries, that's what Iranian regime always said, that if there was a strike against it, it will definitely target American bases in the region. So it's no surprising that there is concentrating on doing that with the aim of influencing the oil price and making sure that ordinary Americans. So that was always in the works.
100% agree. This is the risk with regime change. All bets are off. But I agree with you, Don, 100%. That's what we're going to see. What I'm trying to figure out if this is a coordinated or not. So that's the only thing. Gregory, go. I know you've been waiting, so go ahead, Gregory.
Yeah, what I wanted to mention, everyone kind of mentioned a little bit of it, but I also wanted to bring in the fact that there's a bunch of commercial planes right now off the coast of like the UAE and other parts of the Gulf states that didn't close their airspace yet, that didn't close their airports yet, that are just circling. And you can even see this on like Flight Radar 24, where they're just circling because they're not going to land in an airport that's about to be, bombed. So it's very interesting to see what they're going to do with these commercial planes because there's also this sense that a lot of people are going to be trapped here and US citizens are going to be trapped here. So if this is going to be a multi-day and eventually maybe even a multi-week operation, the US is going to have to do something with its US citizens in these states, and it's going to be very interesting to watch. So it's something that people should look at. That's what I wanted to bring in.
Actually, Nelson,
Mark. A quick breaking reports of 6 separate strikes on PMF in Iraq.
Yeah. Mark, I have to ask you, you've been patiently waiting. Have you heard anything on the range? One of the aspects that was supposed to be targeted was Iran's nuclear facility that's been reported by Fox News and other Western U.S. agencies. Have you seen anything that kind of, I mean, because we're all focusing on one thing, but have you seen anything about the Iranian nuclear program specifically that's been hit? Have you seen anything from that angle?
Nothing. No. I mean, all the sites were hit and heavily damaged, we believe, in June of last year, and then as reported in the IAEA not secret report, but confidential report that major newspapers were reporting on yesterday. So that's February 27th now. Iran was not allowing inspections, probably had greatly diminished capabilities, but was still, I don't know, standing up against the world, not allowing inspectors. And I think that when we see reports out about what's struck, it's not clear we're going to see any extra information that tells us more than we knew last year. It's just that they didn't allow inspectors, and the IAEA report said that it was entirely possible that up to a few hundred kilograms of moderate to highly enriched uranium escaped damage. And I've seen reports that said, look, this stuff could be used to start up special reactors to make highly radioactive isotopes that could be used in dirty bombs. Maybe. It's all kind of weird. So the question in my mind is, why did they stand up against the world for what's likely to be not very useful amounts of product? None of that is the direct answer to your question. I haven't seen any extra reports. I don't know if we're going to see it.
My last question for you: nuclear reactor in Bashir, the nuclear facility in Bashir, the plant, could that be a target or no?
Almost unimaginable. We had a guest a few hours ago say something about it being a Russian reactor. I mean, it was a plant that the Germans were building for Iran. Then the Russians completed it decades later. There's a reactor there. I know that that civilian nuclear sites had an unprecedented involvement in the Ukraine war because Russia captured a nuclear plant from Ukraine. But other than that, aside from a lot of loud language about this, in general, there's almost nothing to be gained by either side from attacking or making a target out of civilian nuclear facilities. And I don't think there's been any statements from either side involving Bashir nuclear plant, except to say that nobody believes that Iran's enrichment program was actually for their civilian reactors. And Iran didn't really make any credible claims at all that their enrichment was for their reactor. So pretty much there's a carve out. That reactor has not been targeted and has not been involved in this conflict. I would not expect that to change, but I guess we'll watch.
No, thank you. Please stay with us, man. Again, anybody nuclear, follow Mark. He's the goat. I would say again, James, I'm following it. The UK MTO has released statements related to basically the military conflict over there. So we're already seeing that's going to have broad-based implications for international maritime trade. I'll share it right now. It looks like there might be another wave of strikes going on currently in Western Iran and in Iraq. It's going to be hard at this moment to determine which one is Israel and which one is the U.S. So at this point, I think for these arguments' sakes, I know there was kind of the plan of the initial wave. That, plans change as the conflict continues. But I think for this, we're just going to have to call it a combined strike by both U.S. and Israel. So we're seeing that in Iraq and in Iran. James, I think what is clear to me, at least at the moment, is that how the U.S. and Israel are analyzing and doing this is they're going to go big to end this once and for all. I think that is the objective, not only just regime change, but they're going to solve all the problems in the negotiation, the nuclear, the ballistic, and the proxy, it looks like.
Yeah, it's the final one. If we want to put a word on it, it would have been better than the name maybe that was given, but the final one. So that's the last time. You either get to a place where you agree on something or you're done. Is it the right strategy? Is this what should happen? Will this lead to the successful objective that wants to be achieved? That's a different question. Right now, what we're seeing is destruction all over the Middle East from both sides, and this seems to be a non-ending for the next couple of weeks, I assume, if not more. What's your opinion on that, Citra? Okay. Talking
I have a
about,
bit of a
we're
breaking
getting
news, James,
information.
if you want to hear.
Just a
Breaking
second.
news.
We got information. Breaking news. Information about this explosions in Qatar, capital in Doha. Sorry, capital of Qatar. So
Oh
that just popped
no.
up.
What just happened? Do you have any images or video?
Stas,
I
please,
just
no
sorry about
sarcastic
that because
comments.
I just I glitched there, but I was about to say I supposed to Qatar, but I think we're also getting. Hold on, where was that quote? The Qatari one, and it's kind of interesting. Literally, we got this back to back. The Qatari Ministry of Defense, we will confirm that the security situation is stable and under complete control. And then shortly after that, explosions to Qatar's capital, Doha. And then Reuters quoting an Iranian official, all U.S. bases of interest are within Iran's range. And then Iran targeted all U.S. bases and interest in the region. Tassim. So Tassim is the Iranian state media. So it does look like this is broad. The question that I have, again, this is initial, right? But compared to the amount of strikes that the U.S. and Israel did at the beginning wave, and look at this retaliation piece from Iran, it does. I mean, the one in Bahrain does not look like it was an extensive retaliation, and we're talking about onesies or twosies right now, and not that large retaliation. Again, maybe it could be that they're trying to gather the forces to do it. Maybe some of the strikes was happening was somewhat successful. But yeah, yeah, I see your hand up. Are you
Breaking news.
hearing anything in Israel?
Breaking
How many
news.
missiles were actually launched from Iran against Israel? Like an actual number?
I don't have the actual number, but I do have breaking news, which is IDF have allowed to publish that it is started to call on reserve 70,000 people. So my guess, this is to deter Hezbollah from taking any action.
By the way, have you guys had confirmation the U.S. is using Pakistani airspace along with its air bases? Somebody did a thread
Huge
on
doubt.
this.
Well,
What? I have it here. It
doubt.
says, I'm sorry.
I think this is leveraging Israel, Iraq, Iran, like through Israel, through Syria, through Iraq to Iran, and then through the maritime routes. I wouldn't necessarily look at this from the Pakistani perspective. But
So
There's a thread
another
on
hit
this,
in
Sitrep.
Bahrain.
I posted it.
Just a second, Stas. Another hit in Bahrain. Another strike inside of Bahrain.
There's footage now
But
being
Bahrain
shared of a
is
Patriot
very
interceptor
fertile.
being launched against another Iranian ballistic missile over Abu Dhabi as we speak, the UAE.
There was
I
Abu
think what
Dhabi, and
this
then
is
also
going to
an
enable,
Israeli
though.
official. Oh, sorry. An Israeli official reported that prominent regime officials have also been injured inside Iran.
And then I think that's what we're going to look at. But what I would say is, I wouldn't be surprised, James, is because Iran is conducting these strikes, now the Gulf countries who restricted their airspace might enable it. Unless there was a secret agreement that they allowed it. Publicly, they said they wouldn't. But now I wouldn't be
So
surprised if this is going to
Sitrep,
enable U.S. to use their airspace.
the Israelis are calling
Burj
at
Khalifa was
50,000 reservists for border
Stas, please.
defense right now.
Just a point. Burj Khalifa has been emptied. Airspace above all the countries in the Gulf, except Saudi Arabia, until now have been closed. Iranian missiles have been. There have been multiple waves until now of Iranian missiles on those countries, based on reports. Most of them have been intercepted, but some of them landed. Most landings have been in Bahrain and right now Qatar. Until now, the rest have all been intercepted. Just for info.
So wait, are you saying that the explosion heard in
Hold
Qatar
on,
was an interceptor or an
James.
actual strike, James?
Hold on, James. Can you see the plume in Abu Dhabi?
I see it here in video.
It's massive. I mean, this is a significant hit in Abu Dhabi.
Okay, but guys, so here's the problem. This is the problem with when we're doing this using X. What is new and what is circulated?
Right.
Because again, James, you said the Bahrain, and I'm seeing that's the one that is the one that happened, right? That's the one that happened. And again, we got to be very, very, very careful of what we're saying, because I find it very hard to believe that the Qatari Ministry of Defense said the situation is stable, and then we got a report that there was an explosion and that. But it's like, okay, is this just being old circular reporting? Like, are we mixing up? So to everybody here, be very careful. And this is a problem with X, and this is the problem with alerting systems, is they regurgitate old information, push it as new, and so you're trying to spend. And this is what I'm running with. Is this a new event, or is it because Bahrain? All the videos I'm seeing, yeah, it's impressive. It's the one strike. End of story. And so that's where, and that matters for the analysis. So again, everybody here, word of caution, and Twitter is going to make it terrible because everybody wants the engagement. And so everybody's going to post it. Be very careful to interpret that as these are multiple events. More than likely, it is a singular event. Okay, wait, hold on. Donald Trump just made he's tweeting. Oh, no, it's a news article from Just the News. Yeah, interesting.
The Israelis in Arabic language channel and Persian language channel have notified Iranians that are working in facilities that are affiliated with the military or security to evacuate it. They're giving them advance warning now, the Israelis.
Oh, there we go.
The missile in Bahrain hit a neighborhood called Jafar.
Yes, that's what Hazem has said. It's just near the base.
So there have been fragments falling from interceptor and missile attacks. The police are warning civilians in Israel, and the Israelis have asked for 50,000 reservists immediately for border control. I don't know which borders they're looking at, but maybe the Jordanian border.
No, it's from Hezbollah.
They should have already had people up there.
Okay, so in terms of general information, what we have until now, a couple of hours ago, there was a major strike, a major coordinated strike between the US and the Israelis on multiple locations inside Tehran and other cities. After that, there have been multiple back and forth waves, not back and forth, multiple waves from the US and Israeli coalition on a lot of cities inside of Iran. Those strikes have targeted military positions and leadership of the IRGC. Until now, that's what we're getting as information, and the naval elements. Following those first initial strike, we've seen a start of a response from the Iranian. They have targeted Israel with couple of ballistic missiles. We don't have information yet about the other allies in the region. And then attacks on the border Arab Gulf state, which are Qatar, UAE, Doha, Bahrain and Kuwait. The only valid strike or validated strike that we have until now that have landed is one inside of Bahrain in the Jafar neighborhood near the 5th Fleet Base HQ inside of Bahrain. We have been getting a lot of different reports about attacks also now happening inside of Iraq, where the Israelis are attacking Iraqi militias that are supportive of the Iranian regime in fear of retaliation. And then the ongoing strikes are happening.
There were
Sorry,
reportedly
Vladimir?
2 killed in the strikes on the Hajj Shabi in Iraq and 8 injured.
Okay, that's ground information. We don't have information about what has been hit. If anything has been hit yet inside of Israel, people have been in shelters throughout the morning, back and forth for those strikes. There have been sirens, and then we can add also that the U.S. have made their position clear: no nuclear Iran, no no threat to U.S. or its allies in the region. While on the other side, the Iranians are saying that all hell broke loose and that we are right now in a situation where we have to. They want to go all in. That's media. There has not yet been an official statement from the IRGC. The only statements that came from the IRGC were to confirm that the president was okay and Ali Khamenei was okay through Reuters because both their residential zones were hit in the first strike. Satrap, do you have other info before we?
Yeah, I'm just sharing it now. Sorry about that. Just having a kind of glitch right there. I'm trying to see if it could post, but basically, the Iranian Foreign Ministry did release a statement condemning this attack, and then basically saying that they are going to respond to the fullest extent possible. So that is one of the latest news. But I'll push it back to you, James.
Thank you. I'm gonna go to Ayal. Ayal, is there more warnings coming? Because I'm hearing that there is some, but I don't have validation.
I haven't seen any other red alerts.
Oh, nothing in regards to Israel again.
No, in terms of Israel, yeah, I haven't heard any from the Israeli side here.
So sorry, what did you ask?
Was injured in Israel, an injury in Israel.
No, and I've not seen any missile hit in Israel.
So apparently, echoes of a powerful explosion were heard in Tehran, the Iranian capital, based on an Al Jazeera correspondent's report 9 seconds ago. That's on IL Red Alert.
Okay, we'll follow up on that. I need Gregory. Gregory, what do you think the perception of people waking up in the US right now would be? That's quite important because they slept yesterday. There
Well,
was
not yet, James. It's
discussion
only
by
it's 4:41 Eastern. A lot of people have no idea what's going on. But I think that's
maybe
Yeah.
people
what's
are
going to happen
waking
tomorrow
up. I
morning.
don't know.
Yeah, people all over the I mean, I was in I knew something was going to happen today, so I chose not to go to sleep today, but
You had
definitely
a
people are going to
feeling.
start.
You had a feeling, a strong feeling.
Yeah.
There is a new alarm east of
There
Jerusalem,
are.
east and south of Jerusalem.
Northern Israel has more alarms right now, James, just so you know. And I am getting confirmation of another strike in Amran, Bahrain from 2 minutes ago. Excuse me, not Amran, excuse me, Manama, Bahrain. A new explosion was heard, and that's from AFP 2 minutes ago. So I want to make sure it's not a
And
duplicate.
that's fine. I mean, again, we got to be like there could be explosion, but again, if there are, let's say, UAV strikes, like we don't know if there's like the explosion could be interception, it could be secondary explosions from inside the missile area. Like there, just because there's an explosion doesn't necessarily mean there's another attack. It could be a million different
Right.
things, or it can. But I did see that it is a good report. It's just we don't know the second and third order effects right now.
Okay, well, I'm still going to report it to you, and then you can discern afterwards.
But go ahead, Gregory. I mean, I think that's the key aspect. Tomorrow morning, well, not tomorrow morning, this morning, in a couple hours, when the U.S. wakes up, this is going to be the dominant news cycle, and I guess that's the key question of what do we see?
Yeah,
Reports of
there's going to be a
explosions in
lot
Riyadh.
of
There are reports of explosions in Riyadh now. This is Al Hadath, which is based in Saudi Arabia.
There are celebrations in parts of Iran. People are dancing on the streets with music, with their cars.
I would be very cautious with that. Be very
Okay.
cautious with that.
I'm
with
watching
that
videos.
reporting.
There is no internet in
Yeah,
Iran. Just
exactly. That's number one.
3.20.
And number two, this is the prime time when people, if you're going to use IO, this is when you're going to do it on both sides. I would be very cautious with those reports
There
because
is
I don't
internet
see
in Iran.
anybody.
There is internet in Iran, but it's intermittent. So that we are talking to Iranians in the country. It is intermittent. I'm talking to
There
relatives
is
right
no
now.
internet
The
in
NetBlocks
Iran.
has it at
My friend, there
4%.
There's
is.
no
It's
internet in
intermittent.
Iran.
There
That's
is
what.
some
Please let me finish.
internet.
Let me finish, please. Please.
Okay, allow me just to just put a dampen that point. We're not going to talk about people dancing, people being happy, people being this, because we can't confirm any of that news. That's it. Okay, there is no clear information about how the information is coming. We know the disinformation campaign that can come from any side in terms of those conflict. I just want people to be clear. Any information that we're getting is related to what's happening. We're trying to get the information about the military point and everything. We will have a discussion about the future of what's happening to Iran in case of regime change and how the people will respond to this and how will they respond after that. Thank you. That's end of this point because this discussion will lead nowhere. Also, we're getting report about interceptions above Dubai. People have seen it. Lao Bang heard in Dubai and around Dubai. Mainly to reclarify, those were interceptions. Vladimir?
Just quick one.
Yes, I know.
One hit in southern Israel. No injury, only damage.
Okay, thank you. Vladimir, there is ongoing strikes inside of Iraq. Anything that you can talk about this?
Well, I mean, there was just one strike on Kataib al-Hezbollah. So remember a few days ago, Kataib al-Hezbollah actually did an interview with AFP, that they were saying that they would do something if Iran is attacked. So they were the first ones that were hit in the Babel governorate, and reportedly 2 were killed. But I haven't seen any more strikes than that. So it was just this specific strike in the Yufr al-Saqar area in the Babel governorate, which is like a main area for Iranian-backed groups, basically. But I haven't seen anything else. And there's also a lot of reports about civilians seeing missiles going from like in the early morning from 9 o'clock, like people in Iraq and the Kurdistan region, they have seen like missiles going towards Iran, and now also the other way around. So there's a lot of air activity basically. And also, I just heard actually a plane above in the airspace in Erbil, but because of all the clouds, I mean, it's probably too far away to see it. So there's a lot of also there have been basically already like some things falling out of the air. So there were like some, I think, rockets or something that fell out of the air in Kirkuk. And we've seen the same thing in Syria. So that's also a sign that missiles are being fired and some of them are crashing basically or not reaching their target.
James,
Yes,
I'm
thank you.
seeing reports of explosion in Saudi. Did you hear anything?
Yes, in Riyadh, we're hearing Riyadh. The only country that hasn't been targeted yet, based on report, is Oman, which we assume why they are the main negotiator in those discussions. All other countries have had like reports of not either potential strike or rockets or ballistic missiles flying above them and them being intercepted. So we're seeing images of people in Abu Dhabi running away from a crash location. It could be a crash location of a missile or an interceptor, and also in Dubai. Bahrain is the only one that where we have proof that there was a hit in Bahrain in Jafar neighborhood in Ma'man. And then we're getting Kuwait, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, where we're hearing explosions, but we're not getting actual
James,
information of
check
what
your
was hit.
DMs. There are video of hits in Jerusalem, East Jerusalem, from the Armenian.
I'll get it checked. Mark, you have a point?
Yes. Although it's come up several times about Bushehr nuclear power plant, which was a German-designed plant completed and put into operation with Russian help, with new Russian units being added. That's only one of the civilian nuclear plants in the countries now involved. Abu Dhabi has a large nuclear plant in operation currently, and I would continue to expect that this conflict, whatever its involvement of Iranian nuclear military facilities, will continue not to involve nuclear civilian facilities. It seems to be something that, although people are worried about this, can you protect a nuclear plant in war for whatever reason, and thankfully so, it seems to be off limits for both sides, was off limits in the strikes in last summer, and I would assume remains off limits. But yeah, if there are confirmed reports, as you've said, of interceptions above Abu Dhabi, that means that you have a nuclear power country, Iran, firing missiles at another country with civilian nuclear power. And it's just something, obviously, I'll be monitoring, something that people are almost certainly going to make a big deal about, but something that I expect to continue to be not a major part of this conflict.
Okay, thank you. Citrep, I saw you.
No, I think, I mean, I didn't just going to read this. I don't think we said it. I mean, it's nothing new per se, but the IDF did release a statement. And with again, the IDF and U.S. Armed Forces have launched a broad and joint operation to thoroughly degrade the Iranian terrorist regime and to remove existential threats to Israel over time. So again, I think what we're seeing is all this is broad-based. That's from the IDF officials' X page. The Iranians have responded. I shared it on the Nest, basically repeating that. Threatens full power response. So, it's targeting all U.S. military assets in the region. So, yeah, we're going there. So, yeah, I'll push it back to you, James.
So my question right now, considering we got a bit of maybe toned down the attack, or we're not getting as much information. There's two reasons. We're getting less information because either there's less strikes, or because one, there is no internet in Iran, and two, everything is being kept under the fog of war. So we are not sure what will happen or what's happening right now. How long can this be sustained? Like, how long can the target bank go? How long will this go until you have to put boots on the ground, until you need to get physical involvement, until you need to get people to go change the regime themselves? I don't know. I don't think there is readiness inside of Iran to go change the regime. That's my personal opinion, that the groups that want to topple the regime are not ready, either militarily or anything, like we saw in Syria, Citrep, with
I would just, again, we have to be very careful. I don't disagree with you, but it's very hard to war game this out. And I wouldn't necessarily agree that the only way you can achieve regime change is through boots on the ground, and there would be a lot of ways. Again, what we don't know right now, after these strikes are continuing going on and they're going to last, one of the aspects that we need to look into is what within the regime, what leadership is remaining, who was killed, who was wounded, who was taken out. Has the cyber element completely isolated the command and control aspect? There's a lot going on. But Eyal, I see you're waving your hand, so I don't know if you have breaking news. Go ahead.
No, not breaking news, but I wanted to comment on the regime change. It's too early. There are going to be waves that would take down, by far more military, besiege, police, and all those people who are have been brutalizing the Iranian people. And then the Iranian people are 90 million people. Some of them who are in the regular army have weapons. Other things may happen in the next 3 or 4 days that we just don't know about. So I would say let's just wait.
In terms of command and control inside Iran, we had reports that there were 4 layers of command already pre-planned in anticipation of this war. Iran, during the negotiations and since 12-day war, was expecting this war to happen. And in fact, there were reports that this strikes might, or Iran was actually betting on war because it felt that a prolonged war will effectively strengthen its negotiating power. It's the thought is that America and neither America nor Israel can afford a prolonged war. I was in Saudi Arabia during the 12-day war, and people in Saudi Arabia had felt themselves very detached from what was happening. In fact, the airspace was open, the flights were happening. And I think this time round is a very different psychology. People in the region are awakened to the fact that the war, this war is much more serious than what was happening before, and their lives will be affected, and there will be that psychological pressure not to prolong the war. So there's always the possibility that this will be a short conflict, and then they will go back to negotiating table. That is certainly one of the options that Iran was considering.
This is actually inaccurate. So, because based on reports from the regime itself, so the Telegraph, for example, cited an IRGC commander, and this was even published in regime media, and an IRGC naval commander openly and vocally dissented with Khamenei. And recently, one of the IRGC heads of intelligence, again in regime state media, went so far as to say, yes, we are aware of defections and other competing intelligence apparatus. So in the Islamic Republic, there are at least a dozen competing intelligence agencies, and he mentions he mentions 3 or 4 of them, where he says, yes, we've heard of dissent and even outright defections, even within the IRGC. So if you look at statements coming from members of Majlis, which is parliament in the Islamic Republic, they are quite vocal about them not being able to withstand strikes from the regime, and they are aware that this is this intervention, this what is going on now together with the Americans and Israelis, the outcome is regime change. And that is why we've also heard of diplomats of the regime just abandoning their posts and taking refuge in this embassy, that embassy. So those in the regime do know this is the end. And they know negotiations are not going to happen. This is an all-out war. This is their last standing fight, and they know it.
James,
But Danny, I have another question for you. What's also interesting is that the IDF have called the operation the Roaring Lion. So why do you think they call it like that?
Sorry, was this a
I don't
question
know,
for
but
me?
seeing that line is, listen, I don't think the Prime Minister Netanyahu has concealed or withheld his association with the Crown Prince. He's met him in person. We've had defense ministers, well, not defense ministers. Let me take that back. But journalists within Israel.
Okay, I gotta jump in. Sorry. Axios is reporting. Give me a second. The IDF has conducted strikes against the Supreme Leader Khamenei and President Pezeshkian, Israeli officials tell Axios. So I just got that notification from my app. I'll share it there. But we kind of suspected this, but this is being very specific of the attack that is the interesting aspect here. Again, there's one thing of targeting the symbology, right? The presidential palace, let's say, or whatever. That's one thing. This isn't the message. This was a directed assassination attack, per Axios, directed against the supreme leader and the president, because there was this idea that there's going to be a target against, let's say, the clergy, the supreme leader's office, kind of that aspect, and maybe lead the president, who's kind of like a moderate. I don't want to get into the debate of it. Just hear me out, right? And there's the idea: can you separate the two? And then that's kind of like the technocratic government. That is not happening.
This is correct, Sitra, you're correct, because even during the 12-day war, it was either Pezeshkian or Shamkhani, who was a close advisor to Khamenei, where he says Pezeshkian, who was the head of the executive branch, Ejei, who was the head of the judiciary, and Ghalibaf, who was the head of, he's the speaker of parliament. So the three heads of the Islamic Republic, excluding Khamenei, were hiding in a bunker. And it turns out the Israelis did strike in that proximity, but they managed to escape. So, if you look at what happened, transpired during the 12-day war, and what is happening now, and if you look at the statements from Israeli officials, whether it's the current defense minister Israel Katz or the previous Israeli defense minister Yoav Gallant, Benjamin Netanyahu, he's said it explicitly time and time again. For the Israelis, the outcome that they're pursuing is regime change. They will never reconcile with the Islamic Republic, and they will never settle with negotiations with the Islamic Republic.
Freedom to the Iranian people, that's the goal.
Hey, I'm in some group chats with Baluch and different groups. The Baluch have gotten very active on their socials. Has anybody seen anything about them being armed or anything? Them like
I would just again be very cautious.
No, obviously.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Look, the thing is, I think what is clear as day, there is no question now whatsoever in any sense or shape or form that this is not only a regime change type of operation, but it is this isn't like maybe the argument. I remember, for example, Craig, like, oh, we're going to knock out IRGC but leave the supreme leader early. This is full blown across the board, all elements of the Islamic Republic's government, from the legislative branch, probably from the executive branch, from the judiciary, from the military, across the board. That is what they tried to do in the first strike, and that's what we're seeing. So, this is so I had to jump in with that, and then hold on. Okay, Israel. Okay, again, this is from Israeli media, but these are the guys who are conducting the operations. Quote: Israel's Channel 12 reports that an Israeli source assesses there has been, quote, major success in assassinations targeting the Iranian leadership. Again, I'll read that one more time. Israel's Channel 12 reports that an Israeli source assesses there has been major successes in assassinations targeting the Iranian leadership. These were kind of the key aspects that we're missing. We're starting to see more reports. Brian, I know you waged. I don't know if you have any breaking news, but I'll just go to you quickly. It's full blown.
Yeah, just to respond to what you were just saying, that could be psychological warfare on the part of the Israeli government to try and get the people still fighting inside Iran against the attacks to give up. It could be very accurate. It could be their best guess and inaccurate. They could be spot. We don't know, and there's so much we don't know. Except we do know Iran has already showed a willingness to hit all the soft targets that you and I were talking about earlier, Stefano. They can't hit our military assets easily. Right?
I have to jump in with this point because I agree with you. I'm surprised it's not to the volume or the quantity that I thought it would be. I would have expected larger volumes by now.
I think I think as time goes by, we're going to see a lot more of everybody's cards. I think we in the internet age, we want an impatience to see all the capabilities and all the assets displayed early on, so we know everything from the beginning. I think Iran has a lot of weird, sneaky, low tech stuff that the worse their government gets pounded, the worse they're higher tech and organized, formations get hit, the more this terroristic, clandestine, building on their networks built over thousands of years
Right, but
type
okay,
stuff will come to fore.
I'm sorry. Okay, because this isn't a surprise like that where you can make the argument the 12-day war, and then the problem with the 12-day war is it takes a long time to degrade them, so it gives them time to kind of and there was notifications and all that, right? So again, we don't know. I'm waiting on this. I don't think Iran has days to launch masses of attacks, and then the second thing though, but the terrorism and the proxy. Again, I'm just going to be flat out honest, guys. This is from a military. If I am Iran right now, I need to target. There's two aspects I would want to target. It is the military component of the ability of Israel and the United States to conduct these strikes. So Israeli air bases and everything. And then two, I need to cause economic pain across the board to see if the long term I can have this halted. The thing is the right now the immediate response, which is just again,
Just
it's just
Citrap,
kind of fresh, but
just
there's
breaking.
not that kill. There wasn't that dead hand switch. There wasn't this immediate. Hey, if this happens, even if you lose comms, you will respond. James, I think you unmuted. Go ahead.
Uh, um, sorry, it's a bit
Hey
Is it
James,
cutting.
glitch?
also
Yeah,
I have breaking
It's
news
a bit
whenever you
laggy.
have a
So
chance.
that's the only thing, Brian. But sorry for interrupting you. Go
Guys,
ahead.
yeah. In terms of the information, due to the situation in the UAE, people received the message. People close to me in the UAE have
Sorry,
sent me.
James. I'm getting a report here. One killed in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, okay. That's already big, but we're getting also reports that due to the current situation, potential missile threats seek immediate shelter in the closest secure building, and to steer away from windows, doors, and open areas. This came to everyone in the UAE, Abu Dhabi or Dubai. So people are starting to get alerts and warnings inside of Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Seems that Abu Dhabi intercepted everything, but debris are still falling onto residential areas, and that's where we're sorry someone died, but that person have succumbed probably to his injuries from that debris. Faith, you were saying something?
Just so you know, the Jordanians
Yeah,
have
hi,
said
I
that
have
they
some
took
breaking.
down 2 ballistic missiles in response to the Iran strike.
Excellent. Not in terms of bombings. This exclusive. We just posted about it. But essentially, as you know, for 4 months, Iraq has essentially had no government. It's a caretaker government because they could not form a cabinet. And part of the reasons is because obviously of this conflict between Iran and the U.S., each putting its proxies. But the exclusive is, as of last night, they were supposed to meet with the Americans to deliver a message to the Iraqis that if you appoint Nouri al-Maliki, who is a very pro-Iran prime minister, there will be consequences. Essentially, yesterday, al-Maliki did not meet with Special Envoy Tom Barrack. Essentially, right after they broke off the talks between the Iranians and Americans, obviously the Iranians told the Iraqis break off immediately, and they're preparing to appoint him immediately as the prime minister of Iraq, essentially to merge Iraq with Iran. Not in terms of country merge, but in terms of strategic interests, etc. This morning, they were delivered a letter saying, you do that, and you will be 100% isolated, sanctioned immediately. Think Venezuela type isolation. So that was delivered literally this morning. It's final, it's binding. You do that, and Iraq is essentially over.
So Faith, 48 hours ago, Trump made those comments to the Iraqis, and they told them they would not give them the vote of confidence to support that guy that you mentioned because of their Iranian influence. They have somebody else in mind. So I don't know what that person's name is. Do you know who that is?
So there are a few like al-Baladi and others, but the point is no one has the vote of confidence because, as you know, Iraq obviously is very sectarian, has many different factions, but is very, very dominated by the Shia
Hey, sorry for
faction.
jumping in. This is from Reuters. They're reporting that several senior Revolutionary Guard Corps commanders and political officials have been killed in the U.S.-Israeli strike, per Reuters. We don't have the names yet, but the U.S. and Israeli officials are reporting to Reuters that they have managed to kill those officials.
Yeah, so Citra, remember I told you how there was some type of meeting or something. This is why they chose to make this decision. Either this was a scheduled meeting or this is part of their normal course, in prep for what was going on. But definitely they were able to get to significant people in those larger strikes in
No,
Tehran.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the key aspect. But sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead, Faith. I'll let you continue. Sorry for
No,
jumping
I
in.
mean, essentially done. So basically, what's happening in summary is they're trying to fast track the appointments now. This is as of last night, and the formal warnings in writing letters have basically been published. That basically Iraq is next, not necessarily militarily from a military point of view, but definitely from a sanctions and isolation point of view. Also, I want you to know that all the oil reserves, all that stuff sits in the New York Fed. Literally, the entire Iraqi central bank reserves in the New York Fed. And that is a vestige of the Iraqi war, if you remember, when the US had a lot of strategic interest in Iraq over the last 2 decades. So all that money sits in the New York Fed.
So, Iyad, can I ask you a question? I just saw this. Just want to confirm it to you since you're there, or maybe Stealth. Did the shelter in place in Israel been lifted? Has that been lifted?
Not to my knowledge, but I'm not in Israel. I'm in the
Iyad,
US. Yeah.
What was the question?
has the
Sorry,
shelter
The
repeat.
in
shelter
place
in
in
place.
Israel been lifted?
No, it's not. It has not been lifted. But what the airport authority said that they are planning to reopen the airport on Tuesday.
Wow. Wow. That's
And
quick.
they say under emergency situation, which probably means that Israeli firms would be flying in and out, but most of the foreign ones will not.
Okay. I'm finding there's a lot of conflicting reports about because Fox News is reporting that the U.S. did not conduct strikes on leadership aspects, that was all Israel, but then Reuters is reporting that the U.S. did. So fog of war type of situation, but clearly so there has been targets of the leadership. It's just who's doing it. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm waiting on. I guess there's still reports of everything that's going on. Okay, so here's another one. Trump is expected to address, this is from Axios. Trump is expected to address the nation again on Saturday morning, in addition to the video that was released overnight, U.S. official tells Axios. So, to Gregory's point, when the people wake up, they're going to wake up to this, what in the hell is going on? And there's going to be a major statement by President Trump. Go ahead, James.
So, Trap, I got the report from someone that they can exit the protected space. So I think it's the underground bunkers, but they need to stay close towards them, or the refuge area, but they need to stay close to them. It doesn't mean that they can move around or travel or everything, but they are still in high alert. I'm talking about Israel, but
Yeah.
they can get out of the
Yeah,
bunkers.
you don't have to stay in shelters. Only when you get the minute and a half warning do you have to go in for about 10 minutes. But I live not far from the main Tel Aviv Haifa highway, and there is traffic on it. Not the regular traffic, but people are moving about.
The Iranians have announced to the people living in Tehran to leave Tehran in a calm, orderly manner if they're able to.
So I don't know what the sources. Al Hadath, Al Arabi Al Hadath is saying that Israeli sources are confirming that there was an attempted assassination of the supreme leader and the Iranian
that was
president.
reported by Axios. Yeah. Axios report that
Yeah.
the Israel did conduct a strike against the supreme leader and the president, against both.
Okay.
I shared that up in the NAS. We don't
Now,
know.
the Iranian side is confirming that there are casualties among IRGC leadership and political leadership. Do we have names at all?
No, not yet.
There's
Not
some.
yet. Not
There's
yet.
some on my feed. Let me see what I have. But again, not. We can't confirm the reality of this just yet.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if the Iranians announced any names. That would be the most confirmed list, I believe.
So the Israelis they're planning another wave of attack on factories and military infrastructures across Iran. The Israelis have a Farsi-speaking official 30 minutes ago putting out another statement regarding them leaving the area. All civilians or people working in those buildings to leave those areas.
On the IRGC being struck, here's something interesting you ought to know. Javad Zarif, the former foreign minister of the Islamic Republic and current and recent special advisor to the president, Pezeshkian, he said in IRNA, state media, that Israeli spying in the Islamic Republic is so extensive that he said it's institutionalized. That is to say, at every layer of the Islamic Republic, there's Israeli intelligence. And so that is why they were able to conduct so precisely assassinations of these IRGC. And if they wanted to, they could have even targeted non-IRGC, that is political officials, like Pezeshkian. Interestingly, Pezeshkian himself had to evade Israeli assassination attempts by jumping into like a normal, like a cab, like a taxi trip. So that is the extent of the Israeli intelligence and penetration into the Islamic regime. So if they do target people, and they have targeted IRGC personnel and commanders today, they're probably commanders of the ballistic missiles. But those are the higher ranks. But again, we will learn very soon who they were.
Iranian sources again. Arakshi is safe.
Yeah, and I think that's what. Well, Arakshi is the foreign minister. I don't think. It's like I don't know. It would be interesting if he was even one of the first white men.
Somebody going to sign surrender, so Arakshi would be a good person to do it.
But I would just be very cautious of because we saw that in the first time, like when the strikes happened, like all the media was like all these leaders were safe, and then they were a lot of specifically within the Quds Force and the commanders and all that, and they were like no, they were killed, and so that's why we just have to wait a little bit and see kind of what's going on. Trying to check the news again. One person did die in Abu Dhabi because of shrapnel falling debris. So one person was killed. We did see casualties in the U.S. strike. In the pro-Iranian...
do you have a nationality on the casualty in Abu Dhabi?
No, not yet. No. There was a strike in Jerf al-Sakir base, which is southwest of Baghdad, led by the PMF, the pro-Iranian militia groups. There were casualties there with unconfirmed reports. I'd be going to preface this, unconfirmed, that they might have been senior militia commanders, pro-Iranian militia commanders, but we don't have any confirmation of that. But AFP is reporting casualties.
Yeah, 2 are killed.
Yeah. Turkish Airlines cancels flights. We're already seeing cancellations from Turkish Airlines.
Yeah, from earlier this morning. Sitrep, loud explosions have been heard in Riyadh. Do we still have any confirmation on that at all, or where, or anything?
No.
Okay.
No. And I'm starting to get to the point.
Also now with rockets probably or drones.
I mean, it could be if the Houthis are getting involved. They could have launched something.
That's what I was thinking.
Would suspect we would have seen video.
Do we have any video of the Houthis launching anything? Usually they'll put out their.
We have nothing out of Riyadh, but based on the reports of explosions.
Okay.
Okay. So now, and I think you said this earlier. I think it was you,
Stealth.
Hazem, that you said the Iranian sources are reporting to Reuters that several senior commanders of the Revolutionary Guard Corps and political officials were killed. We're getting a lot of this.
On other Israeli channel, you have people are saying that the result of the strikes this morning are still unclear, and until they are clarified, the IDF will not provide any information.
Yeah, one more thing. Channel 12 estimate that a total of 10 missiles only were fired toward Israel in all of those different barrages, and probably all of them, maybe except one, were intercepted.
12?
12? This seems very low.
That's it?
That's what they estimated, but
Sitrep, do you think they disabled their launchers, Sitrep?
I don't know. I don't know.
No. The only thing that can. What I think the issue is there's chaos within the command and control. When the last time we saw this, Iran launched, especially during the 12-day war, the beginning was hundreds, but they started to kind of towards the end of it was like around 50 to 70 ballistic missiles by wave.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be just the original, but just 12 seems.
No, I agree with you. I would wait until tomorrow to see indication of what the real capabilities are.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if because again, the U.S. strikes were directed in the beginning at these facilities specifically to prevent Iran's ability. Again, I agree with you. We had to give it time, but there might have been some success in there. I would not
So,
discount that the U.S. strikes might have had some success. Go ahead, James.
so in terms of breaking news, airlines canceled their flight to the Middle East. That's the full list. Qatar Airways suspended all flight due to Qatari airspace closure. Turkish closed it to Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, UAE, Amman, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Iran, and Jordan. With Air Astana, Oman Air, Fly Dubai, Lufthansa, KLM, Emirati and Etihad, Delta, United, Air France, and Aegean. Russian airlines and all Israeli carriers have stopped or canceled all their flight until mid next week. That's the full list of people that have stopped their flights until now or announced full stop of flights.
Full stop where?
Qataris, UAE, Fly Dubai, and all of those, they stopped all their flights
No,
because
you said
they,
Russian airlines?
yes, to Israel, Lebanon, and the Middle East.
Okay.
Vladimir,
Breaking
we're getting
breaking
videos
news.
out of the Iranian Kurdistan region that the IRGC bases there are being bombed. Have you heard anything from that?
Just a minute. There is a report. I don't know the exact source that the head of the IRGC, Muhammad Pakfur, was eliminated.
Yeah, there also was a hit on the base in Erbil. The Erbil airport was hit. There's smoke rising from the airport. And as you said, there are some ballistic missile bases in Iranian Kurdistan that are being hit by Israel. And there's a lot of missiles flying over the Kurdistan region. And the Erbil airport was hit, which comes a few hours after Kataib al-Hezbollah was hit. And actually, I heard something in the air now here in Erbil, so probably some drone or something.
Estimates in Israel that there is a good chance that Ali Khamenei, who is the advisor of Khamenei and the person responsible for the nuclear program, was eliminated. Unconfirmed.
It's a wild representation of the shift in how the power structures have changed, that Hezbollah hasn't done shit and the Iraqi militias are firing stuff. But Hezbollah, I mean, the real question for me of how this conflict develops is if Hezbollah is going to at any point get involved or not, because they've got the best international overseas terrorist capability to hit the United States or Europe. They've got assets over in the Western Hemisphere that they've been building for a long time, working with Iran. But my understanding is that Hezbollah was the tip of the spear for them. And if they lose that, they really may lose their ability to hit us effectively or hard terroristically if Hezbollah really sits things out. But is there a clear limit? Do they even know what they're going to do? Do they have a clear understanding of what that red line is for them, or are they divided and weak? And my guess is that they're divided and weak, and there's plenty of people in Hezbollah who want to absolutely sit this out. Which leaves the question: is Israel going to just bomb Lebanon just to bring them in for the sake of it?
Well, we did see
Could
some
they do that?
strikes. We did see strikes. What was I think it was yesterday? Massive strike in Bekaa Valley, specific kind of the Redwood Force. But it's kind of crazy, Brian. You could literally. This all started after October 7th. The domino effect of October 7th. And the problem is, from the Iranian perspective, is exactly to your point. It's exactly your point. Is that Iran, that what Hamas was betting on after October 7th, it was all the proxies were going to get involved, and none of them did. And then that enabled Israel to pick them off one by one by one by one. And now they're in the situation where Iran basically has nobody. And oh, by the way, Russia's completely consumed with Ukraine, so nobody's going to save them either. Like they're just, and the Chinese aren't coming, guys. Like don't even mention China. They're not coming to save Iran. Iran is isolated completely. The best options, you said, maybe the Iraqis, and I would even say the Houthis, but they're not going to save Iran.
Yeah, and it's nuts. I mean, we're obviously weaker with our European allies, but Iran without Hezbollah, I mean, that's really been their ace card in terms of Israel, in terms of the U.S. I mean, we have our own bad experience with Hezbollah. I mean, that just the name, if you're old enough, brings that up. So I think the degree to which this internationalizes beyond the Middle East, I think, is dependent on Hezbollah.
I think I saw a
I
report
just want
where
Okay,
Lebanon
wait.
says
Three of you
Hezbollah.
guys started talking at the same time. Danny, go ahead. I'll go to Danny.
I think I remember seeing earlier today in the National, which is UAE news outlet, that the Lebanon said that Hezbollah will not be getting involved, and I don't really think they have the capacity to involve. Nor will would the Lebanese
That's not
government.
what was said. Again, the Lebanese government has asked Hezbollah not to involve itself in the war. They have asked. Is there a way to stop the Hezbollah from going in at the moment? Not yet. So as a Lebanese, I'm telling you this, that it's not possible. If Hezbollah will want to
And
get
there's been
involved, they will
shaping
strike.
exercises, James. For the last 2 weeks, they've been striking all the weapons depots and the rocket depots aggressively as much as they can. So they've tried to degrade as much to create a deterrence to disincentivize it, right? So, and they haven't struck in center Beirut, but they've been targeting generals and kind of going down the general line, but also striking major weapons depots over there and missile depots. So
They have been
yes, there
striking.
was.
Okay, for someone, just to reclarify, in terms of the strikes that happened in Lebanon for the course of the last couple of weeks, most of the strikes were unknown location or location that were struck in the last war. There was little to no new position except some assassinations that happened, and most people who were assassinated were field commanders, so people that were in the area, like leader of this area, leader of this area, leader of this area, apart the generals that were hit in Baalbek a couple of days ago, in the Bekaa, not in Baalbek, sorry, in the Bekaa a couple of days ago.
James,
Ayal, can I
there was.
just... Yes, please.
Whoops. There was one strike in which we saw tremendous amount of secondary explosion 2 days ago. I think this was a hit on a bunker that actually Israel was trying to hit few times and was only able to kind of seal the entrance. And eventually they managed to get the bombs inside and everything got exploded.
Maybe. What I'm trying to say is that you can't say that they are done, because if they were done, the situation would be completely different. Right now, they are not done, so they can still attack. Is it something I would like to see as a Lebanese? Not at all. I follow the line of my Lebanese government that tells everybody in Lebanon to take the peaceful route and get detached from any regional war, because we can't sustain a war in Lebanon. That's it. That's everything I'm clearing up. Okay, thank you.
there's been a joint strike in northern Iran by the U.S. and the Iranians in Damavand, right at the side of the mountain. I posted the image on my feed. So if anybody knows what's Damavand, it's an IRGC facility, and it was a joint military strike, both U.S. and Israeli forces. Multiple strikes.
Does anybody know if any of these were manned aircraft strikes from the carrier group, or they were all missile strikes?
That's a good question. We do know a lot of. I mean, a lot of these were cruise missiles. I've not seen anything yet, but I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, then that there is manned aircraft flying overhead. If one thing after the 12-day war that Iran lost was their air defense capabilities. So I would put a very high probability that we have seen Israeli and U.S. fighter jets operating over Iranian airspace. And I guess tomorrow's, well, not even tomorrow. Why did I say tomorrow? This morning.
Today's.
Yeah, this morning's. I think when President Trump does the press conference, more than likely we're going to see General Kane, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. They're probably going to give an initial brief about this and kind of lay it all out, and we're going to have a better understanding of the capabilities.
Sitrap, so the Channel 12 in Israel is reporting high confidence that Ali Shamkhani, the nuclear program the head of the nuclear program and advisor to Khamenei, has been assassinated.
Was he? I'm trying to remember because they switched it out. Was he the Supreme National Security Advisor of the National Security Council for Iran?
Yes, and this is the second time.
Yeah, because the nuclear thing is irrelevant. That's what matters. It's not position. Sorry, go. Yeah, it's the Supreme National Security Council. I think he's the advisor of that, if I'm not mistaken.
It's not
Yes,
like
correct. He was the commander of the Navy, and then he was also responsible.
Wait. Yeah, is it Larjani or is it that
No.
that position right now?
No, Shamkhani. Shamkhani.
Okay, so that's the thing. So when we're just for the listeners, what I'm trying to say is that because that's like the Iranian equivalent of the National Security Advisor, and they are very influential within the Iranian decision-making process, and specifically the coordination and the joint aspect of conducting strike. Like, people are going to focus on the nuclear program thing. To be flat out honest, that is absolutely irrelevant. That's not why they assassinated him. They assassinated him because he was the National Security Advisor, basically, of Iran, the Supreme National Security Council. That's why they did it, because that is a key component of the Iranian military decision-making process and military process. That's why they did the strike. And I'm just saying that, not to justify it or not, but when people hear the nuclear negotiator, the media is going to focus more on that, and that is really, in the constructs from military perspective, irrelevant. It's the other one.
Yeah, I want to be clear. It's Ali Shamkhani, not the previous one that was in that position that you have mentioned.
Yeah, and this is the second time he's being targeted. Last time the Israelis did target him in his house. He was in his pajamas, although he somehow managed to survive. This time around, I don't think he got lucky.
So again, this guy is in charge of the nuclear program.
He's in charge of multiple things. He was in charge of negotiations or diplomacy with the Arab countries, the Persian Gulf. He was